subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Up these few ingredients, can the flavors in the soup be integrated and complete? What's more, why didn't I drink it? I think this is the most perfect soup I've ever had. The second-generation milk looked puzzled. Woohoo, Xiaoyan. I didn't expect you to have such a keen intuition. Jiunai gave Su-Yun a deep look and smiled. Come with me. I'll take you to the place where I made the century soup. It is good. Su-Yun quickly followed. Just now, he hadn't found the place where the century soup was brewed. I think it's because it hasn't reached the timeline when the natural century soup is mature. Therefore, it is normal for the current kitchen building structure to be different from the original. Several people entered the back kitchen and came to a corner. Clap! Jiunai pressed a switch, and a secret passage suddenly appeared in front of him. Halo so hidden, Su-Yun was speechless. No wonder he couldn't find it no matter how much he looked for it just now. Passing through the dark passage, a huge iron pot with a height of 40 meters appeared in front of him. Wow, so huge. It's the first time I've seen such a huge pot. The second-generation milk was shocked by this scene. Su-Yun is thinking about when he will go to a pot like this, which is very suitable for cooking large beasts. Let's go up, call out. Saying that, the seemingly thin Juno jumped on the top of the pot with a light kick on his legs. And Su-Yun picked up the second-generation milk and flew up. Flying to the top of the pot, I immediately saw dozens of huge ingredients in the pot, as well as clear water-like broth. Indeed, as Xiaoyan said, this soup is unfinished. Jiunai picked up a soup spoon of 10 meters and stirred it gently in the pot. The so-called world-thick soup is originally something that exists in nature. Jiro once brought me a drink before. I was so moved by just that one sip that I wanted to start replicating the taste. But unfortunately, in my opinion, I haven't been able to reproduce 100% of the deliciousness. Heard. The second generation of milk looked surprised. It's already so delicious. Is it still a semi-finished product? How good is the real natural century soup? Su-Yun didn't say anything. He kept watching to see if there were any high-quality ingredients in the pot so that he could pick up some wool. But it's a pity that the ingredients in it either he has already picked up or there is no value to pick up. How should I put it? It's hard to explain the taste. But the taste of the natural century soup is the taste of the soup I made with a few additions. But these are the few things that I can't think of if I want to break my head. Jiunai looked sad, then looked at Su-Yun. Xiaoyan, you can taste the taste defects of my soup. Maybe you can finish this soup. In another 2 months, the century-old soup of the century will be mature. Don't you want to go drink it? Of course I do. Natural century soup is delicious enough to make people smile strangely. So Su-Yun is still very interested in it. Then go to taste the authentic century soup, and then make it yourself. Jiunai looked at Su-Yun expectantly and said excitedly, I will try my best. Su-Yun said copingly. He is interested in soup. As for making soup, sorry, not really. Just kidding, it will take at least 2 or 3 months to recreate the century soup. This time is enough for him to upgrade hundreds of levels. If there are no quest requirements at that time, this glorious quest should be handed over to Komatsu. Besides, with his power of regeneration, the world showcase will never be exhausted, and there will be as many natural soups as you want. In this way, there is no need for even re-engraving. Xiaoyan, I'm optimistic about you. Then let's go back to the cafeteria. I'll cook you some more food to eat. You should be very hungry after drinking this soup. Yeah, Su-Yun regained her enthusiasm when she heard that Satono's cooking could be eaten. Jingle bell. After having a full meal in the dining hall of Jiunai, the phone rang. Su-Yun took it out and saw that it was Yilong calling. Asked for monthly tickets, asked for flowers, asked for collections, asked for evaluation tickets. Thank you very much. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 58, Goodbye, Yilong. This is a wooden house by the sea. Beautiful scenery and gentle breeze. Su-Yun fell from the sky and landed here. Yilong called him yesterday and asked him to come over. So Su Yin asked the festival to send the second-generation milk back to Milk Mountain, while he flew straight to Yilong's residence. Dong dong. Su Yin walked over and knocked on the door. Squeak. The wooden door opened, and a short, middle-aged man with a Mediterranean hairstyle stuck his head out. He is Yilong's housekeeper, Mo Dan, responsible for Yilong's daily life. Mo Dan's cooking skills are good, almost the level of a 3-star chef. In fact, it depends on Yilong's position in the world. It is possible to find a chef with more than 7 stars to cook for him. However, Yilong is a man who cares about the world, and he has no requirements for food. Therefore, the housekeeper has always been served by Mo Dan. Before Su Yun and the others were adopted, Mo Dan had followed Yilong. Oh, isn't this Su Yun-sama? Long time no see. When Mo Dan saw that the visitor was Su Yun, he immediately smiled close to him. Yo, Mo Dan, how are you recently? Is Mr. Yilong in the house? Su Yun also laughed. Of course it's here. President Yilong has been waiting for you. Please come with me. With that said, Mo Dan invited Su Yun into the house. Walking into the house, I saw a huge fish tank with a golden fish swimming in it. Name, Energy Arowana species. Fish capture level, 39 habitat. No specific habitat as it is an endangered species. Body length, 3.5 meters height. Weight, 230 kilograms. Price, unknown. Introduction. The king of tropical fish that preserves the ancient fish form. It has the habit of jumping to catch prey, and its athletic ability is so rusty that even peregrine falcons in high-speed flight can prey. It is a super endangered species with only 4 left in the world. It is difficult to even see the real thing, let alone capture it. Ah, Su Yun-sama. This is the only 4 ornamental fish left in the world. You can't eat it. Mo Dan watched Su Yun staring at the energy arowana with interest and immediately reminded him. He grew up watching the 5 Heavenly Kings since he was a child, and he knew that these people would put everything they could eat into their mouths. If I don't eat it, I'll take a scale from it. Su Yun motioned to Mo Dan to relax, and then opened the fish tank. Sure. Seeing that he had a chance to escape, the energy arowana immediately swam and rushed towards Su Yun. Be quiet. After acupointing the energy arowana and pulling out one of its scales, Su Yun closed the tank. Ah, Mr. Su Yun, you scared me to death. Mo Dan looked at Su Yun's series of operations, sweating coldly. At the same time, I couldn't help but wonder what kind of stimulation this child was receiving. After not seeing each other for so many years, he actually had a hobby of collecting scales. After wiping the sweat dripping from his bald head, Mo Dan said, Master Su Yun, the president is waiting for you on the balcony. Do you need any snacks? I'll get you some. Take what you have. Okay. After that, Mo Dan ran to the kitchen to prepare snacks, and Su Yun also opened the door and came to the balcony. Master Yilong, I haven't seen you for many years. How are you doing recently? Su Yun took out a bottle of rice wine from the brewing space. Air rice wine. 15 years, capture level 75. This is the rice wine he made with air water and bliss rice last night, and the alcohol content is only 10 degrees. It is very suitable for people like Yilong who can't drink. After all, the world is so strange. A ceiling-level powerhouse like Yilong would actually pour a glass of wine over 30 degrees. Master, the air rice wine I prepared for you has a sweet and mellow taste, and it is smooth to swallow. The alcohol content is 10 degrees. Isn't it a bit inconspicuous as a gift? He came to Yilong and looked at the blonde uncle wearing sunglasses. Su Yun handed over the wine with a handsome smile on his face. What's so inconspicuous? 1 kilogram of 3.7 million yuan of bliss rice, with the world's top 5 drinking water, plus the alcohol level that suits me. It's just amazing. Yilong took the wine and opened the bottle cap. Grumbling, he drank half the bottle in one sip, and he said with an expression of enjoyment, Good wine, Xiaoyan. Do you have any more? Give me a few more bottles. In a few days, I'll brew some more and send it to you. Su Yun said that because the time was too rushed, he only regenerated air, water, and bliss rice a little. At this time, Mo Dan came over and brought a plate of fragrant snacks. Come on, mayonnaise-flavored squid, dried squid made from mayonnaise squid, minna mayonnaise, mustard mayonnaise, cheese mayonnaise. As you chew, its flavor changes like a veil of flavors. The layers are lifted, and the taste changes, just like the feeling of a nesting doll. Please enjoy, two adults. Thank you. Moran. Suyun picked up a dried squid with mayo and threw it into his mouth. While chewing, he asked Yilong, "By the way, what are you looking for me this time, old man?" "Ask for monthly tickets. Ask for flowers. Ask for collections. Ask for evaluation tickets. Thank you very much. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 59 Battle with Yilong. Yilong did not directly answer Su Yun's words, but said, "Su Yun, I heard about your active deeds. You caught a lot of ingredients. Puffer pigs, incredible meat, G1 corn, and booze cattle." Su Yun rubbed his forehead. "Old man, you're all wrong except for the booze." Yilong didn't care about Su Yun's complaints, picked up the air rice wine, and drank the remaining half of the bottle. "Yesterday, the drunkard Jiro also talked to me about you, and the words were full of praise. The old man is very pleased." "So, why did you call me here this time?" Su Yun said helplessly. "This old man is always so out of line." "Ah, I mainly want to test your strength and see if there are any ingredients that suit you." After drinking, Yilong took out another cigar wood from his arms, snapped his fingers, and a flame instantly appeared on his fingers, igniting the cigar wood. "Okay, come on." Su Yun readily agreed. "You can't beat it, but you still have to give your best." After all, as the strongest person in the world, Yilong has an extremely unique vision. If he just mentions an ingredient, he may be able to make his cells break through the bottleneck. "Then come, let you experience my strength after a long absence." Saying that, Yilong jumped off the balcony and stood in the sea. Like standing on land, it didn't sink. Then, he hopped to a nearby island. Oh, treading water? For this kind of trick, you can see through it at a glance with the spirit of the mirror. Moreover, Su Yun tried his best to control his body, and it was easy to imitate. Clap. After trying twice in the water, Su Yun learned this technique and jumped behind Yilong. "Oh, Xiaoya, that's not bad. You've exhausted your food righteousness? Did you go to Shilin Temple to study?" Turning his head to look at Su Yun, who was following him, Yilong's eyes flashed with surprise and asked curiously. Naturally, Su Yun would not answer directly. He looked around and pointed in one direction. "Old man, that floating island is quite spacious, just right for fighting." Yilong was extremely distracted, just like a cat. After a little interruption, "I forgot what I asked before." He looked at the floating island that Su Yun was pointing at, nodded, and said, "It is indeed possible. Then let's go over there." The two landed on the floating island. "Okay, old man, don't waste any time. Let's get started. See if I can make you scratch your skin this time." Su Yun moved his muscles and bones, his eyes full of fighting intent. Let the horse come over." Yilong held his head high and said. Hearing this, Su Yun did her best as soon as she came up. Ice field, gravity field. After the two domains were superimposed, the surrounding sea area was completely frozen into ice, and the gravel kept rolling down under the heavy pressure. Oh, the power of ice and the power of gravity? This kid, is the food demon further awakened? A flash of surprise flashed through Yilong's eyes, but his body remained motionless. The power of ice that froze the entire floating island did not affect him at all. On the other side, Su Yun raised his right leg back high, mobilized the energy of his cells, condensed a huge chopstick, and attached the power of ice to it. After the attachment was completed, the whole chopstick was covered with ice, and a biting coldness emanated. Su Yun waved his right leg and kicked Yilong fiercely. Bing bing, flying leg chopsticks. Although the name is a bit ugly, its power is visible to the naked eye. It's not my fault that the name is ugly, it's just like that in the anime. Let's just follow its style for the time being. I saw the fierce wind that it set off scrape the ground. The gravel splashed, and a deep ravine appeared. Call! Yilong looked at this chopstick calmly, took a deep breath, and blew it out. Whoever wanted to breathe out the breath was frozen into ice cubes. Chopsticks still flew straight towards him. Oh, it's interesting, Shaoran. Yilong flicked his finger at the chopstick and instantly turned it into powder. Ice and chopsticks. When he missed a hit, Su Yun raised his right leg again, concentrating his strength. The charging time this time is a bit long, but the results are also visible to the naked eye. Thousands of ice chopsticks, over 1 meter long, appeared behind him. As his mind moved, these ice chopsticks were all fused together and turned into a supergiant ice chopsticks, over 1 kilometer long. Su Yun waved his right leg, and Bing Bing and agricultural chopsticks immediately flew into the air, then turned the angle and fell vertically toward the dragon. Chopsticks with ice and chopsticks can be said to be one of Su Yun's most powerful moves, but the disadvantage is that the speed is too slow. At the speed of a dragon, it is easy to dodge, but he didn't hide, reached out a hand, and resisted the chopsticks with frost ice. Boom! Under such a huge impact, the floating island under his feet was completely unable to support it, and Yilong was directly pressed into the sea by the ice and agricultural chopsticks. At the same time, hundreds of meters of waves were lifted, but they were immediately frozen by the ice power that came with the chopsticks. Su Yun took a long breath. Even though he only made 2 moves, it still consumed a lot of energy. Humph! Xiaoyan, you've become a lot stronger, and you've already left Toriko and the others far behind. If you haven't seen him, hear his voice first. As soon as he finished speaking, Yilong rose into the sky from where the floating island collapsed and landed firmly in front of Su Yun. He stretched his hand to Su Yun's eyes, showing a wound of about 1 centimeter above it. Xiaoyan, not bad. You won this battle. My skin is rubbed. Hearing this, Su Yun's mouth twitched violently. He doesn't want such a victory. Ask for monthly tickets, ask for flowers, ask for collections, ask for evaluation tickets. Thank you very much. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge event time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 60 Ingredients suitable for Su Yun father. The skills I can use are basically revealed. You should have a general idea of my strength. Now you can tell me what ingredients are suitable for me. Su Yun said. Wufu. I think about it, bubble candy should be counted as one of the ingredients in the human world. But you have done your best to eat right. Should you learn to eat? That bubble candy should have been eaten. This one doesn't count. Yilong thought for a while, then shook his head again. Hearing this, Su Yun was taken aback. Bubble candy? It should be soap bubbles, right? He has never eaten this. It seems that he has to go to Shilin Temple these days. Yilong continued. There is basically no ingredients suitable for you in the human world, so you can only go to the food world. Since you can use the power of gravity and the power of ice, it means that the low temperature and high gravity environment should have little effect on you. So, what about hypoxia? I'm used to the hypoxia. I went to the vegetable sky a few days ago, and I have learned the hypoxic breathing method. Su Yun replied that he is now able to adapt to the extreme low temperature of around -200 degrees. As for gravity, since the multiplier of the gravity field has been continuously improving, he will use it to train himself from time to time, and currently he can fight normally in a 10 times gravity environment. Wow! It seems that your cells can basically adapt to various environments in an instant. Yilong smiled gratified and patted Su Yun on the shoulder. Then, are you interested in trying it out in the food industry? Gourmet world? I'm afraid that won't work. The beast there can easily find someone stronger than me. Su Yun frowned. He didn't think his 170-level strength could make his way in the food industry. Specifically, it is the junction of the human world and the food world. Yilong scratched his head and smiled. First of all, you know that the vast food industry occupies about 70% of the entire Earth. There are 3 ways to enter the food world from the human world: sky, land, and sea. There is a current of death at the junction of the oceans, and there is a poisonous tide flowing on it. After passing the poisonous tide, you have to cross the highly poisonous mountain range before you can truly reach the food world. The poisonous mountain range is 15,000 meters above sea level, and it is full of poisonous creatures. The average capture level is as high as 230. Then there is the junction of the sky, where there is a wall formed by a huge low-pressure cyclone. To pass through, you must have the help of a very high cell level or special plants. After crossing the cyclone wall, there is a sky island. The aborigines inside are raptors with an average capture level of up to 300, and they will attack all creatures that pass under the island. But neither place is for you. Having said that, Yilong paused, took out a cigar, and started smoking. Su-yin also nodded when she heard the words. Although these places are only briefly mentioned in the original work. But he has been here for so many years, but he has heard of it. The sky and the ocean are nothing for him to think about at the moment. Not to mention the degree of danger of the beasts there. The extreme environment alone is not something he can set foot in. Yilong exhaled a puff of smoke and continued. Then there are only 3 routes left on land. The first one is Udo Island, also known as Evil Spirits Harbor. The average capture level is 500. If you go there, you will end up dead. The second one is the 3 Ways Road on the Wack continent. From time to time, there will be beasts running from the food world to the human world. The average capture level is 280, which is not suitable for you at all. As for the third item, it is the Life Waterfall Pool on Sable Island. In that area, there is a large altitude difference between the human world and the food world. As long as you can jump into the food world. It can be said to be a hindrance. The easiest route to enter with the least disruption. But it should be noted that, like jumping from one cliff to another, there is a fault between Sable Island and the food world. If you can't imagine it, you can see the picture I put. If you accidentally fall into the fault, you will enter the underground forest. The underground forest, also known as the Angola forest, has an altitude of minus 20,000 meters. Occasionally, creatures from the human world and the food world will fall down. Because they can't get up, they have been living there. But compared to other routes, the biological capture level there is the lowest, with an average of only 150, so it is also the best for you. After Yilong finished speaking, he looked at Su-yin to see what he was thinking. The average capture level of the underground forest is 150. It should be lowered by the beasts that fell from the human world. In fact, it is still very dangerous. Su-yin said, the maximum gravity of the underground forest is about 5 times, which is the same as that of the snake cave. So it means that there are many beasts in the human world that can adapt to the gravity there. But the capture level of the beasts in the human world is 100. Based on such a calculation, there may be more than 200 beasts with the highest level of capture in the underground forest. Danger and opportunity always coexist. With your strength, Xiaoyan, you can always run if you can't beat him. Why don't you give it a try? I heard from the staff of Habitat Zero a few days ago that in the Death Chill Pool in the underground forest, there is an ingredient that is about to mature. It is very suitable for you. Yilong said with a smile. Ask for monthly tickets, ask for flowers, ask for collections, ask for evaluation tickets. Thank you very much. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 61. Go to Shirlin Temple. Very good ingredients for me. Su-yun's eyes lit up. Su-yun naturally heard about Habitat Zero. It exists in the food world. In addition to the research and development of ingredients, it also performs secret measures to monitor nitro. Although there are less than 20 employees in Habitat Zero. But no matter which one, it is a master who can rank among the top 100 human beings. For example, Master Yusaku of Rebirth, the first generation of Milk, and Jin Tenten, a national treasure of the gourmet human being, all belong to the staff of the Zero-Th Habitat. Therefore, the information given by Habitat Zero must be very reliable. Yeah, that kind of ingredient is called ice crystal stalactite. The capture level is 468, it matures every 1,000 years, and there is a huge amount of ice essence condensed in it. If you want to capture it, you must pass the test of Death Cold Pool. It is said that the temperature there is below minus 200 degrees. This extreme environment may not be tolerated even by a powerhouse over level 400. The ice crystal stalactite benefits from its dangerous habitat, so its capture level is also very high. But I think the cold pool of death is just a small test for you, who has the power of ice, right? Perhaps after eating the ice crystal stalactites, your ice power will evolve greatly and reach a state that can be elementalized. Yilong looked at Su-yun narrowly. He couldn't believe that this kid wasn't heartbroken. What? Elementalization? Hearing this, Su-yun's heart skipped a beat. In the original, only 3 people have elemental abilities. Starjan's fire power, Boob's ice power, and Blanche's thunder power. Among the three, only Starjun had a preliminary grasp of elementalization. In the theatrical version, Bishikakai's Kilim also performed elemental moves. This character is from the theatrical version of Superfood Treasure of the God of Food. In the above, I have the impression that these three people are the only ones. Please correct me if there are others. But Kilim's elementalization level is much higher than that of Starjun. Kilim can divide his body into countless particles, which are used to evade attacks, which is equivalent to short-term invincibility. It can also be used to move at ultra-high speed, and its speed is comparable to teleportation. However, such a powerful elementalization is not automatically mastered as the cell level increases. You have to eat certain ingredients in order to master them. So this ice crystal stalactite, he must get it. Otherwise, the ghost knows that we will have to wait until the year of the monkey, the horse, and the moon before we can learn to become elemental. Thinking of this, Su Yun hurriedly asked Yilong, "How many days will that ice crystal stalactite mature?" "Well, about 10 days. If you want to go, you have to leave as soon as possible." "Okay, I see. I'll go get ready." Su Yun nodded, and then asked again, "By the way, are there any other ingredients suitable for my cells? Tell me if you have any." "No, you stinky boy. You are quite greedy. Let me capture the ice crystal stalactites first." Yilong laughed and scolded, and made a gesture to beat Su Yun's head. "If not the old man, I'll go first." Yilong didn't really want to play him either, so Su Yun dodged with ease. Then he used the air dance technique and flew in the direction of Shilin Temple. He has to catch the soap bubbles first and improve his cell level. In this way, after entering the underground forest, one can have enough strength to face danger. This kid can still fly? It's hidden deep enough. Su Yun flew away, leaving only a stunned Yilong standing there. Lost Forest, the largest forest in the world, with a total area of 30 million square kilometers. Compass and GPS are all useless here because of special magnetic fields and radio waves. It can be said that once you get lost, you will never get out of the forest. This is where Shilin Temple is located. The vicinity of Shilin Temple is also known as the Lost Forest Sea. That piece of forest is made up of the world's most shy tree, the invisible tree, which is said to grow in the food industry. It is a magical tree that hides its shadow whenever a ferocious creature approaches. In the original book, Toriko and Komatsu went to great lengths to find the Shirinji Temple hidden in the Lost Forest. But for Su Yun, who has done his best, finding it is an easy task. As he flew and searched, he soon saw a quaint temple. It is Shilin Temple. Clap! Landing in front of the gate, Su Yun folded his hands and bowed slightly. Then he opened the door and walked straight in. Hey, here comes a little guy who is proficient in food righteousness. As soon as he stepped over the threshold, an old voice came from above his head. Su Yun looked up. A chubby little old man with round-rimmed glasses was looking at him with a smile. This old man is Zhen Zhen, one of the national treasures of gourmet food. "Hello, Master Jin. I'm here to catch the soap bubbles at the request of Mr. Yilong." Su Yun began to pull the flag. "Oh, Longy asked you to come to me. Who are you?" Zhen Jinjin floated down from the eaves lightly, adjusted her glasses, and looked him up and down. "I'm Su Yun. I'm a disciple of Master Yilong." "Oh, it turned out to be Su Shan, but Ihu has found a good disciple. At a young age, he is so proficient in eating righteousness." Zhen Jinjin nodded, and he saw that the young man in front of him had a restrained breath, and it was obvious that he had an extremely delicate control of the energy in his body. Su Yun was ashamed. From a certain point of view, Yilong and Jinjin are really the same raccoon dog. One always says the wrong ingredient name, the other always says the wrong person's name. Ask for monthly tickets, ask for flowers, ask for collections, ask for evaluation tickets. Thank you very much. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 62, the ancient version of soap bubbles. Seeking a monthly ticket for flowers. Come with me, sue me. I'll take you to the place where the treasure of the temple is located. Zhen Jinjin held her left hand behind her back and waved her right hand, signaling Su Yun to follow in his footsteps. Okay, Master Jane. Su Yun readily followed and ignored Jin Jinjin's slip of the tongue. By the way, Sui, have you learned to eat? You can't catch extremely slender soap bubbles just by virtue of food. When walking to the main hall of Shilin Temple, Jin Jinjin suddenly said, I learned. Hee, that's really good. When I learned to eat, I was in my 40s. Jin Jinjin glanced at Su Yun with her small eyes buried under her glasses, her eyes slightly suspicious. But nothing questioned. After all, as long as you reach the destination, you will know whether Su Yun's words are true or not. He continued, but there is one thing I want to explain to you in advance. Soap bubble fruit is a super shy ingredient, and only the very familiar old people lead the way. They dare to emerge. Also, they are quite vinegary. Once you bring other ingredients in, you will be sentenced out of the game immediately. Okay, I understand. Su Yun nodded. Next, they walked all the way through the main hall, side hall, and back door of Shilin Temple. Came to a beautiful environment behind the mountain. Here the mountains are green and the air is fresh. In the middle of the mountain, there is a dreamy avenue paved with pink foam. Here, Long Yun, this is the avenue paved with foam, commonly known as the Bubble Avenue. This road is the only road that connects the soap bubbles. As long as you walk straight along here, soap bubble fruit will automatically appear when you feel your sincerity. Saying that, Zhen Jinjin took the lead on the Bubble Avenue. And Su Yun also took a deep breath, used the spirit of the mirror to clear the distracting thoughts, and followed. Just stepped on the bubble road. The whole avenue suddenly gave off a dreamlike luster. One by one, colorful and rounded spherical fruits emerged from the foam avenue. You're here? You finally came. Come to my side quickly. Come on, come on. One after another, childlike voices sounded in Su Yun's mind. There was cheer in his tone, as if a child got his favorite toy. This is the role of food fortune. Looking at the dreamy scene in front of him, Su Yun was also greatly surprised. Oh, this kid has really learned to eat, and he has such a high food fortune. This kid's name is Su Yun, right? Jin Jinjin was also shocked, and the scene in front of her would set a new record for Shilin Temple. There have been many people who have come to catch the soap bubble fruit in the past, but only a few people have been able to successfully catch it. And those people generally spend a lot of time on the bubble road. It was the first time he had seen a situation like Su Yun, where the soap bubbles appeared automatically when he stepped on it. However, this is not the end. The next scene, Jin Jinjin was stunned, and his glasses fell to the ground in fright. I saw that each soap bubble fruit flashed with multicolored light and spontaneously moved towards Su Yun. In the process of moving, it is still constantly merging and growing. In an instant, the soap bubbles with a diameter of about 50 centimeters actually merged into huge soap bubbles with a diameter of up to 3 meters. They scrambled to float towards Su Yun, and Su Yun looked at these huge soap bubbles in amazement. Name: Ancient Soap Bubble Fruit Type. Treasure of Town Temple Capture Level 135 Habitat. Shilin Temple Body Length 3 m Weight 20 kilograms. Price 1 piece / 700 million yuan. Introduction. Ancient soap bubble fruit is an ingredient that lived in the Bubble Canyon in ancient times. Later, due to the turmoil in the mainland, the extremely slender ancient soap bubbles burst one after another and became an extinct food. It was not until thousands of years later that the ancient soap bubble fruit was resurrected again through the hands of Mo Yang, one of the national treasures of gourmet human beings, and moved to the Shilin Temple to be protected by Jinjin Town. However, due to the difference in living environments such as air pressure, Shilin Temple is not suitable for the survival of ancient soap bubbles, so they split into soap bubbles, which is the form that exists in Shilin Temple today. Only when they meet someone who is completely overwhelmed and blessed by the gods will they merge for a short time and reappear as the ancient soap bubble fruit. Its deliciousness is several times higher than that of soap bubble fruit. It can be eaten directly, and if it is cooked, it will become even more delicious. The catch level of soap bubble is 98, while this ancient version is level 135. Man, I can't imagine how much improvement it can give me. Su Yun is also very happy after understanding the cause and effect, which is completely unexpected joy. He could feel that his body was desperate for it, so he no longer hesitated, and went straight to an ancient soap bubble fruit. When you touch it a little, you can feel a warmth, like the warmth of lying in my mother's arms when I was a baby. This is the warmth of life. It has been imported countless times. The warmth of the ingredients. Then, thanks to all the ingredients in this world, I'm going. Is it all right for me to figure this out? Brothers who think it's okay, send your monthly passes, flowers, and evaluation tickets all over. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 63, Do You Want to Be the Successor of Shaolin Temple? Ask for an evaluation ticket for the Flower Monthly Pass. After finishing the eating ritual, Su Yun bit into an ancient soap bubble fruit. However, when his teeth were about to touch the surface of the fruit, he heard a protest from the ingredient. So he immediately listened to the voice of the ingredients and turned his bite into a breath. By the way, turn on the super taste. Snort. Just like the top soft jelly, the whole fruit quickly pours into the mouth with a single sip. When they touch the teeth, they will automatically disperse and melt. The refreshing and bubbling carbonic acid overflows instantly. There is a taste of ice broadfall. It smells like Rebecca. There is a distinct taste. It was followed by a champagne curry that was as sweet as honey. Like milk ice cream made from whipped cream, the whole foamy fruit is like a foamy jelly as sweet as honey. Boom! And as this ancient soap bubble fruit slides down the esophagus, it reaches the stomach. It began to turn into pure energy, surging through Su Yun's limbs. Clap! Su Yun's muscles swelled twice, and she shook her shirt into rags. This time, the cell activation reaction was unusually long-lasting. It lasted for 3 minutes before it finally ended. Open the character panel. Host, Su Yun Physique. 45-32 Food Luck. 90 Cooking Level. Level 7 Ability. Intimidation, Advanced Food Skills, Intermediate Acupuncture, Primary Poison Resistance, Food Demon, Awakening Level 20%. Food Discrimination, Gravity Field, up to 19 times. Food Righteousness, Sky Dance, Consumption, Frost Power. It can condense the area of 1,500 meters. The Power of Regeneration, the Spirit of the Mirror, the Super Taste Kitchen Space, Viscose Leek, Peach Potato, Bliss Rice Winemaking Space. For 122 years of shochu, for 110 years of brandy, for 118 years of white wine, cultivation space. Air Water, Sauce Wild Pig, White Sugar Whale. Capture Level. Level 211, Current Mission, None. It's really cool. I've improved to 40 levels in one breath. It's much safer to go to the underground forest now. It seems that this trip to Shaolin Temple is really right. Taking a deep breath, he calmed down his excitement. Su Yun continued to gulp down these ancient soap bubbles. To go to such a dangerous place next, you must store more energy. The other side. Jin finally calmed down the shock. As Mo Yang's shy client, of course he knows that what exists in Shaolin Temple today is not the original soap bubble fruit. It's just that after so many years, I have never seen anyone who can wake up the ancient soap bubbles. So he gradually forgot about it. Unexpectedly, today he actually saw a miracle. Thinking like this, he admired Su Yun's gaze more and more. The young man in front of him, only about 25 years old, handsome to the extreme, he also tried his best to eat righteousness and food. The high food fortune is favored by God. If he were more than 100 years younger, he would definitely feel envious and jealous towards Su Yun. But now that he is old, he has seen it. For such a young, handsome man, there is only admiration left. He looked at Su Yun, who was feasting, and said with a smile, "Little friend Su Yun, I have something to ask you." "Oh, Master Jin, you finally called me by my name. What changed your opinion?" Su Yun raised her eyebrows, continued to swallow the ancient soap bubble fruit, and said, "I wonder what happened to Master Jin. The old man may be leaving here soon, and I want you to be the next heir of Shaolin Temple." Jin laughed. Cough, cough, cough. Hearing this, Su Yun almost spit out the pulp in his mouth. After hearing the condemnation from the ingredients, he forcibly swallowed it, coughing continuously for a while. A long time. Su Yun slowed down and said with a face full of tears and laughter, "Master Jin, Why do you have such thoughts? Look at my age and my appearance. Do you look like a monk? So, you don't really want to? Jin was a little disappointed and sighed helplessly. What does it mean to be unwilling? Is it simply unwilling? Suyun muttered speechlessly. Well, that's fine. Everyone has their own aspirations, and I won't force you. Jin was aggrieved like a child who was robbed of candy. Seeing his appearance, Suyun couldn't keep complaining for a while. I had no choice but to pretend not to see it and bury my head in it. While eating, keep these ancient soap bubbles in the kitchen space. When it was almost time to eat, she saw Jin standing beside her, still with a gloomy look on her face. He comforted him and said, "It's okay, Master Jun. I will introduce you to two talented disciples. You can consider training them as successors." He was talking about Toriko and Komatsu, of course. Hearing this, Master Jin was happy again. Obviously, he trusted Suyun. "By the way, Master Jin, I also have something to ask for. Little friend Suyun, if you have anything, just say it. I heard that there are many high-grade and delicate ingredients in the food warehouse of Shilin Temple. Can you take me there to see and feel the mystery of Shilin Temple? Maybe I will change my mind and agree to be your successor. Is this true?" Then little friend Suyun, come with the old man quickly. Ask for monthly tickets, ask for flowers, ask for collections, ask for evaluation tickets. Thank you very much. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 64, entering the underground forest for the first time. I'm really a little expert at cutting wool. After leaving Shilin Temple, Suyun looked at the extra ingredients in the kitchen space and smiled. Egg into rice. Capture level 63. There is a small egg in each grain, and the egg also contains soy sauce, which is a highly praised ingredient for those who like to eat eggs. After cooking, it can be made into fragrant egg rice. Ham rose. Capture level 15. The petals are delicious ham roses. The leaves are lettuce, and the stems have a texture similar to that of lettuce, which makes it delicious to eat with roasted ham. They're also pudding camel, white fish plain noodles, and other delicious ingredients. Next, let's go to practice gravity again. Strive to be able to fully adapt to 19 times gravity these days. As Suyun thought about it, there was a faint worry in her heart. He was afraid that the system would suddenly give him a task in the past few days. So is he going to capture ice crystal stalactites? Or is he going on a mission? It hurts to think about it. So I had to pray in my heart, and the system would not issue tasks until the ice crystal stalactites were captured, or give him a task that could be completed in 2 or 3 days. Fortunately, his worries did not come true. The system has been silent for several days, and Suyun also successfully adapted to 19 times gravity through hard training. The capture level has been raised by 19 levels again, to the level of 230. In addition, he also worked hard in the training space. Rare species such as the energy arowana and the pseudo-brilliant phoenix have been regenerated. Although the regenerated energy arowana is just a small fish with long arms, and the pseudo-brilliant phoenix is just a bird's egg. But it is believed that depending on the flow of time in the culture space, they will soon thrive. Okay, Xiaomei, I almost have to go. On the 7th day, after leaving Shilin Temple and returning to Milk Mountain, Suyun said goodbye to the second-generation Milk. Okay, it's time to say goodbye again. The second-generation Milk reluctantly said goodbye to Suyun. This time you go to the underground forest. You must be careful. Remember, there is no shame in living. If you can't beat it, run away. That's right. Suyun taught her these bizarre phrases. Under the influence of Suyun, the second-generation Milk, who was originally a strict personality, has become a lot more talkative. Occasionally make all kinds of little jokes. Don't worry, my escapability is top-notch, and I will definitely save my life. Then I'm leaving. Wait for my good news. Suyun hugged the second-generation Milk, and then flew to Sable Island. Well, I'll wait for you to come back. The second Milk watched Suyun leave. After his figure completely disappeared, he walked back to the workshop to grind the mountains of kitchen knives. Because Suyun lives here these past few days, work has piled up a lot. IGO Guard Zone, Level 18. Sable Island, Life Falls Pool. Suyun stood on the edge of the cliff, looking out into the dark abyss. Beside him stood a thin man. He's the supervisor of level 18, Elbier. Don't look at him as a weak chicken. In fact, he is stronger than Toriko now. I didn't expect that the guest here today is the leading gourmet, Mr. Suyun. Elbier was smoking a pipe and laughed. Thank you, Elbier, for letting me in so easily and saving me from an hour-long review, Suyun said politely, and took out a bottle of 300-year-old Kyoto wine and handed it to Elbier. It's very kind, Suyun-sama. Elbier took it with a look of surprise, stopped smoking, opened the cork, and took a gulp into his mouth, intoxicated. It is my duty to serve gourmets, and speaking of it, after several entries, it is a very wise choice to choose this route. Of course I won't joke about my life. I must be fully prepared before coming here. Suyun flexed his muscles and smiled at Elbier. Then, that's the end of the gossip. I'm ready to go. Hearing this, Elbier hurriedly took a break and stood at attention, and gave a military salute. I wish Lord Suyun a smooth trip and prosperous food luck. Lend your auspicious words. Saying that, Suyun kicked his right leg and jumped. Fall straight into the abyss. Bang! Bang! Before falling a few hundred meters, Suyun suddenly heard a strange sound. Looking up, he saw several air masses like cannonballs attacking him, and on the opposite bank in the distance, a beast shaped like a giraffe was staring at him from a distance. From the nostrils, the air was continuously exhaled and sprayed towards him. Name: Breath Dragon Species. Mammals Capture Level 219 Habitat. Food World Height 130 meters. Weight 300 T. Price 100 G/20 million yuan. Introduction. The 90-meter-long neck gives the breath dragon a great vision, and the nose can spew an extremely powerful air mass. Almost every human who jumps from the waterfall of life has been attacked by it. The meat is like a mix of beef and bird meat, which is firm and delicious. Will you give me a kick as soon as I enter the food industry? Don't get too carried away, little dragon. Suyun first blocked the air bombs with a flying chopping board. Then he summoned 1,000-meter-long ice and agricultural chopsticks and slammed the breath dragon savagely. Boom! The breath dragon is huge and inconvenient to move, so even though the ice cannon chopsticks are slow, they still hit it. Suddenly, a violent explosion sounded. The breath dragon was slammed to the ground, and the ice power attached to the chopsticks freezes it. It is very difficult to make it move. After a long time, the ice cubes melted, and it was finally able to get up. Angry, it immediately wanted to fight back, but that hateful human has long since disappeared. It will be on the shelves tomorrow. Please make a first order. Thank you for your support. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time: October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 65 Air Tree Clap. After landing for an unknown time, Suyun finally touched the ground. He landed steadily and looked at the surrounding environment. There are towering trees and all kinds of strange plants everywhere. They are many times larger than the surface. Suyun stepped into the depths of the forest. He could hear that there were quite a few ingredients they're calling him. Ow! Just before taking a few steps, a fierce cry came from behind. Suyun was slightly excited. Is this the first official battle with monsters in the food world? However, he turned his head, and his expression instantly became less interested. What? It's just a sword and shield dragon that fell from the human world, and the capture level is only 93. Go away. I'm too lazy to hit you. The voice just fell. The sword and shield dragon really shivered and ran away in a panic. Huh? Did my words work so well? Suyun was wondering. Suddenly, I felt the ground tremble slightly, and a strong stench filled the space. At the same time, a shadow enveloped Suyun. It turns out that a big guy came. Suyun immediately understood and looked in the direction from which the voice came. A tiger with 3 heads and the height of a 20-story building was staring fiercely at him. The saliva flowed out wantonly in its mouth, and the tongue of the tiger was covered with barbs. Name: Ashura tiger species. Mammals capture level 183 habitat. Underground forest body length 70 meters. Height 30 meters. Weight 720 T. Price The meat is too hard to eat. Introduction. A three-headed tiger living in the underground forest at an altitude of -20,000 meters at the junction of the human world and the food world. He is good at fighting, but because there are three heads, sometimes their ideas will diverge. And if you fight against it, you can seize this opportunity. Roar! The three tiger heads of the Azura tiger roared together, raised their huge tiger claws, and slapped him. Let's see how 19 times gravity affects you first. Su Yun's expression remained unchanged, and he released the field of gravity, shrouding Azura tiger. Boom! Azura tiger just raised its front paws to attack, and is in a state of unstable center of gravity. Suddenly, the weight increased so many times out of thin air, and suddenly his body collapsed and fell heavily on the ground. It struggled to get up but couldn't stand properly despite the creaking bones. After more than 5 minutes, it barely stood up straight. However, his body was still shaking violently like a sieve. Looking at this scene, a flash of surprise flashed in Su Yun's eyes. As expected of a creature in the food industry, you can initially adapt to such a high gravity in such a short period of time. Seeing that the goal has been achieved, Su Yun withdrew the gravity field. Ow! Wow! Roar! The Azura tiger was finally able to move normally, and it felt annoyed that it had been tricked. The three heads each roared and made different sounds. Immediately after, it launched a violent attack on Su Yun. It's just that each head has its own idea. One head wanted to raise his claws to attack. One head wanted to flick his tail to attack. A head wants to open his mouth and bite. As a result, the balance of its body was broken, and it fell to the ground again. Seeing this, Su Yun was also a little speechless, too lazy to play with it. It condensed energy needles and prepared to acupoint it. After failing twice, he succeeded in mastering its anesthetic acupuncture point. The strange Azura tiger suddenly stopped moving. Since its meat is not tasty, Su Yun has no plans to kill it. After bypassing its huge body, continue to walk forward according to the guidance of the voice of ingredients. This is an air tree. After walking for about 3 minutes, Su Yun saw a strange tree. A dozen long branches grow from the top of the tree. The end of each branch bears colorful fruits of different sizes. Azure blue, deep purple, pink. Just looking at the shape is quite dreamy. Name: air tree species. Plants and animals capture level 332. Habitat. Food world. Body length. Height 30 meters. Weight. Price: 1 tree/8 billion yuan. Introduction. This is an incredible tree that can produce air from its fruit. Each fruit produces different gases, such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen, and other gases. However, these gases are generated sporadically, so sometimes the air near the air tree can change drastically. In addition, its fruit can also be used as an ingredient, and it seems to be designated as a super special cooking ingredient. This air tree seems to be a super miniature version of the Food King air. With my current skills, it seems a little difficult to cook the air tree. But since you can hear the sound of ingredients, let's try it for a while. Thinking like this, Su Yun also took out the Xingshan kitchen knife. Just approached the air tree. Su Yun felt his hands and feet become numb, and his eyes became very sour. He knew that this was probably because a certain fruit of the air tree had secreted too much oxygen, destroying the tissue in his body. That's not bad. If it suddenly secretes a large amount of carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide, it will cause more damage to his body. Looks like it has to be as soon as possible. Following the guidance of the voice of ingredients, Su Yun held the stars and quickly cooked. It will be on the shelves tomorrow. Please make a first order. Thank you for your support. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time: October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 66: Cooking the Fruit of the Air. The fruit of the air tree is full of various gases. Beneath that gas is the compressed pulp. Tell Su Yun how to cook according to the voice of ingredients. He needs to cut a vent in the fruit. The gas inside is released and the fruit is cooled. But it's important to note, if the gas is released little by little, then the deliciousness of the fruit will dissipate with the loss of gas, and the overall deliciousness may only be 70%. And if you want to guarantee 100% deliciousness, that must be done while keeping the fruit itself unbroken and its shape unchanged. All the gas inside was released in one breath. To do this, you need to cut the air outlet while blocking the air outlet. Moreover, it must be ensured that the shape of the air outlet is perfect, with no deviation of 1 millimeter. Otherwise, the gas inside will escape through the needles. Besides, there is another difficulty. In order to ensure that the gas is released in one breath, all the gas is compressed in the fruit. This causes the air pressure inside the fruit to increase dramatically. Where the peel is thin, it will not be able to withstand it, and it will burst open, cause an air leak. That is to say, while handling the air outlet carefully, Suyun must always be on the lookout for air leaks. This will put a heavy burden on the mental power. Fortunately, Suyun has a mirror spirit. Otherwise, with his level 7 cooking skills, he would have already passed out. That's it. Suyun started cooking. As he cut the air outlet, he blocked it with an ice plug. This part of the process was slow, but fortunately nothing went wrong. However, at this moment, Suyun suddenly felt a sense of suffocation around him. Oops, the air tree started to secrete a lot of carbon dioxide. Realizing this, Suyun retreated quickly and decisively. And the air fruit he was dealing with also exploded because there was no Suyun's control. It's really a difficult cooking. The cooking technique is still a bit poor. If my cooking level rises to level 8, I may be able to cook successfully in an instant. Having said that, as expected of a level 332 air tree, the level of danger is probably only level 132, and the remaining level 200 is reflected in the difficulty of cooking. Helplessly wait for the air tree to secrete oxygen until the air ratio there is biased towards normal. Only then did Suyun dare to continue cooking. Hard work pays off. After 2 more failures, Suyun finally managed to cook an air fruit. Suyun pulled out the ice plug from the air outlet. Suddenly, a large amount of gas gushed out from the air outlet, blowing the entire air tree upside down. At the same time, a fragrance that made the whole body feel very comfortable filled the air. Immediately afterwards, the air fruit also ripened. The gas it released suddenly changed from a single gas to normal air. With a snap, it fell off the branch. Suyun caught it firmly and glanced roughly. Sadness flashed across his eyes. The air outlet is not cut to perfection. A small amount of gas escapes first, and the taste is probably only about 95%. Sighing slightly, Suyun walked to a corner, ready to start tasting. His body's thirst for this air fruit is even greater than the ancient soap bubble fruit. In the original book, after Toriko ate the air fruit cooked by Komatsu, he successfully summoned the gourmet demon Ao to fight for him for a few minutes. Although the level of his air fruit is far from that of the original, but there is no doubt that it will definitely bring a lot of improvement to his own strength. Then, thanks to all the ingredients in this world, I'm going. Crack! It took a bite and made a crisp sound. It's like eating a freshly baked crispy cookie. But the entrance is a feeling of icy mint. The taste only lingers on the taste buds for a short time before sliding into the stomach. And a new chemical reaction takes place there. It's hard to describe what that feels like. Suyun only felt that the air he breathed was dozens of times fresher after eating the air fruit pulp. Boom! After eating a whole fruit, a powerful force began to wander around, strengthening Suyun's body. The gourmet cells undergo a grand activation reaction. Zitzi, under the influence of this powerful energy, even Suyun's hair grew more than 20 centimeters, and the whole body radiated dazzling light. It looks a bit like a Super Saiyan. The super scaled-down version of air has raised my level by 60. I don't know what it's like to actually eat Food King air. Feeling the powerful force coming from all over his body, Suyun couldn't vomit. He punched directly in the air and swung it towards a giant tree with a diameter of 20 meters. Clap! The giant tree fell in response, raising a huge amount of dust. Seeing this, Suyun smiled with satisfaction. Just using physical strength, and even a punch from the air can cause such a destructive force. It's unimaginable to really use all your strength. Next, Suyun cooked all the fruits on the entire air tree. Because the air fruit he ate slightly modified his cellular structure. So in addition to toxic carbon monoxide, The impact of other gases on him has become smaller, so the success rate gradually began to increase. Moreover, as he became more and more skilled, finally succeeded in cooking the air fruit with a deliciousness of 100%. After eating all the prepared air fruits and putting the bare air tree into the kitchen space, Su Yun continued to move forward. It will be on the shelves tomorrow. Please make a first order. Thank you for your support. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 67 Encounter with Assassino at dusk. Night is approaching. Su Yun found a cave and planned to spend the night here. After wandering in the underground forest for a long time, he found that the low level of the beasts here is only about 70, and the high level is even more than 300. This was even more outrageous than his previous guess. So he, who was very cautious at first, has become more cautious now. Although he has now risen to level 290, even a beast of more than 300 levels can touch it. But he didn't want to take his precious life easily to prove that he had the ability to leapfrog. He still prefers crushing. I could have taken the thermal energy planet 707 as dinner today, but unfortunately, there was just a King Kong with a level of more than 300 dangling nearby. 39 helpless. Su Yun had no choice but to take out the ingredients she had previously reserved from the kitchen space and eat it. Boom! Boom! Not long after eating, I suddenly heard the sound of fighting outside. The biological energy here is really strong, and it is so late that they are still fighting to the death. Su Yun didn't care and was still gulping down the ingredients. What? Suddenly, a scream of pain was mixed with the sound of fighting, and it came out faintly. A female voice could still be heard. Ha! Why are there still people? Su Yun frowned, but wasn't ready to meddle. Still in the cave. However, it may be because the aroma of the food he was eating attracted the beasts outside. An ugly-looking beast with barbs all over its body and sharp teeth in its mouth rushed into his cave. Name: Mamu species. Birds and beast capture level, 137 habitat. Underground forest body length, 5 meters height. Weight, 4.5 T price, 100 G/9 million yuan introduction. The action is fast. Even in the high-gravity underground forest, the speed is very fast. This is often a group action, and if there is danger, it will call out countless creatures of the same kind. Its meat is as tender and delicious as high-grade chicken, and its blood is as delicious as top-quality sparkling wine. Huh? Isn't this the monster that Toriko encountered when he first went to the underground forest and was completely subdued by Uncle Jiro's amazing acupuncture technique? Seeing this beast, Su Yun couldn't help thinking of the scene in the original book that left a deep impression on him. Hundreds of horses besieged Jiro at that time, but Jiro solved them all in less than 10 seconds. Gah! 35 Seeing that Su Yun was motionless, Ma Miao rushed towards him screaming. He wanted to swallow the ingredients in his hands into his stomach with him. Roll! With a flick of Su Yun's finger, a flying chopstick of ice flew out, blasting the horse out of the cave ruthlessly. Gah! The horse that was blasted away caught the attention of its companions. So the other Ma Mews gave up their current targets and ran towards the cave where Su Yun was. It seems that there is no way to live safely. Learn Uncle Jiro's attack method and see how much he can recover. Thinking like this, Su Yun also used a flying chopstick to directly blast all the horses who broke into the cave. Then came outside. With a glance of his eyes, he saw that there were nearly 100 horses here. Not far away, there was a woman who fell to the ground, wearing a nurse's uniform and a mask on her face. There are bloodstains on her clothes, obviously suffering from serious injuries. 0. This person is... Su Yun felt that this woman looked familiar, but she couldn't remember who she was. Gah! Just as Su Yun recalled, Ma Miaochuan attacked him in unison. Energy Needle Rain. Su Yun cleared his distracting thoughts, took a deep breath, and jumped high into the air. Then his hands danced and his fingers flicked. Countless energy needles flew out from his fingertips and shot into Ma Mu's anesthetic acupuncture points. Seeing Su Yun in midair, Ma Muchuan also jumped up and opened a huge mouth full of sharp teeth, trying to tear this human into pieces. But then a strange scene happened. I saw that these horses jumped halfway, and their bodies suddenly became extremely stiff. One only fell to the ground like a dumpling. But within 15 seconds, almost all of the horses had lost their combat effectiveness. Only a few came to Su Yun's side, relying on the cover of their companions. Is there a few fish that slipped through the net? It seems that I am still far from Uncle Jiro. Su Yun muttered. A 10-meter-long chopping board appeared in his hand, and Bang slapped the remaining Ma Miao stunned with a 2.7. Yu the other side. The woman who looked like a royal sister in the distance saw Su Yun, who was like a god descended from the earth, and for a moment forgot the pain in her body. A pair of beautiful eyes widened, staring at Su Yun in shock, not knowing why a killing god suddenly jumped out halfway. And Su Yun finally remembered who this woman was. He came to the woman and smiled slightly. You are a staff member of Habitat Zero? Adesino, right? It will be on the shelves tomorrow. Please make a first order. Thank you for your support. This chapter contains pictures. Click the illustration button in the lower right corner of the screen to view the pictures. Chapter 68, Adesino. What is the origin of this man? Please order. Adesino, the youngest staff member of IGO Habitat Zero, only 27 years old. She is very powerful and has the cooking skills comparable to a 7-star chef. At the same time, he is also a gourmet surgeon with countless doctors and a high reputation in the world. Su Yun had heard of her name long ago. I didn't expect to meet her here. How do you know me, you are? Adesino looked at the handsome man in front of him and felt very familiar. Soon she remembered it and said in surprise, You are the disciple of President Yilong, Mr. Su Yun, right? It's me. Su Yun nodded, then asked suspiciously, Why are you here? Hey. That's a long story. I was commissioned by President Yilong to do an ecological survey in the underground forest. An hour ago, I found an ingredient that is very suitable for herbal medicine, but I didn't expect that when I captured that ingredient, I was attacked by a beast that was lying on the side. Although he escaped by chance, he suffered a lot of injuries. It is estimated that the smell of blood attracted this group of horses. 99 thanks to you, Mr. Su Yun. Otherwise, I might have been miserable today. Hearing this, Su Yun nodded and said, It turns out that this is the case. I am still surprised that your cell activation level is comparable to that of a 200-level person. Yet you are still trapped here by a group of horses. Mr. Su Yun laughs. It's really powerless. Adesino smiled embarrassedly. After saying this, she frowned. The torn wound on her body continued to bleed, causing her great pain, so she said, Let's get out of here first. The night is about to come. The danger here is the level will soon increase several times, and I also need to find a place to recuperate. Then let's go to the cave next door. With that said, Su Yun put all the corpses of Mom Mu into the kitchen space, and then took Adesino into the cave. At the entrance of the cave, a gate of ice with a thickness of 10 meters was built. This can at least block many weak beasts. Mr. Su Yun's methods are amazing. Seeing that Su Yun made so many Mom Mu's corpses disappear out of thin air, and also had the ability to create ice, Adesino was also secretly shocked. After building the ice gate, Su Yun came to Adesino's side and said, You are seriously injured and need to be treated. At this time, Adesino's face had become very pale due to the prolonged injury and excessive blood loss. Breathing also became more difficult, so she had to take off her mask so she could breathe more oxygen. My backpack and scalpel fell off during the escape, and I'll have to wait until dawn tomorrow. Adesino, who took off her mask, showed a bright and moving face. When she heard Su Yun's words, she shook her head, saying that there was no way to treat herself for the time being. The beast that attacked her had a special substance on its claws. Those special substances will act on the gourmet cells. Therefore, the injury she suffered cannot be cured by eating ingredients alone. Must rely on special gourmet medicine and gourmet scalpel to cure. It's okay. I'll treat you. Mr. Su Yun, you can still heal? Well, if you don't believe me, just let me try it. Anyway, I don't need to pay any price. Okay then, hearing this, Adesino blushed. But looking at Su Yun's warm and jade-like eyes, still nodding involuntarily, immediately go to unbutton the clothes. Seeing this, Su Yun hurriedly stopped. Miss Adesino, don't take off your clothes. What? Adesino looked at Su Yun stupidly after hearing this. How could anyone in this world treat an injury through clothes? It's too surprising, right? Just wait a minute quietly. Su-Yun smiled slightly and didn't care what Adesino thought. Mobilize the power of regeneration and cover her whole body. Immediately, the wounds were no longer bleeding and were healing very quickly, as could be seen through the torn clothes. Adesino, who felt the change in his body, the eyes that were full of doubt and disbelief suddenly turned into surprise and shock. It should be almost there. Su-Yun stopped after pouring the power of regeneration on Adesino for 3 minutes. With such a large amount of regeneration power, even a broken limb can be repaired. He couldn't believe that Adesino could not be cured. This, Mr. Su-Yun, how on earth did you do it? Adesino rolled up his sleeves and looked at the original injured position, without even leaving a scar, and suddenly looked like he had seen a ghost. It stands to reason that with such a serious injury, she will more or less leave scars. As a result, the treatment was done so quickly that no scars were left. What is this ability? She really wants to learn. Su-Yun smiled without saying a word, walked aside, took out Mamu's body, and started cooking. Seeing that Su-Yun refused to speak, Adesino did not ask any further questions. But she was still very grateful to Su-Yun, so she said, "Mr. Su-Yun, let me cook. My cooking skills are okay." "No, although your injury is cured, your energy and stamina have been depleted a lot. So let me do it. You go to the side to rest for a while, and you will have a hot dinner in no time." "Okay," Adesino said helplessly, but she didn't choose to rest, but stayed to watch Su-Yun's cooking. It's okay not to look, but after a few glances, I can't take my eyes away. In less than a moment, Adesino was sure that the man in front of him was better at cooking than himself. For a while, she looked at Su-Yun with brilliance in her eyes, and she was also full of curiosity about him. Incredible medical ability, powerful strength, outstanding cooking skills. What kind of man is this? Okay, let's eat. Su-Yun naturally didn't know what Adesino was thinking. He devoted himself to cooking Mamu, and then called Adesino over to eat. Then, thanks to all the ingredients in this world we're on, after Ki finished the etiquette of eating, the two of them couldn't wait to start eating. Well, the meat is tender and chewy at the same time. The sweet juice is delicious. Even the bones are fragrant, and it is accompanied by the delicious blood like sparkling wine. Well, I have to say, Zhao, Mr. Su-Yun, the cooking skills are amazing. While eating, Adesino was full of praise, and she didn't have the appearance of the high-cold royal sister on the surface. "It's too much, Miss Adesino. You can eat more if it's delicious." Su-Yun smiled slightly. It seems that Adesino should be the type that is cold on the outside and hot on the inside. After about 2 hours of eating, 10 horses were eaten. Both of them were full of wine and food, so they started chatting. "By the way, Mr. Su-Yun, can you tell me the purpose of your visit to the underground forest this time?" "Me?" Su-Yun picked his teeth and said, "I came this time to go to the cold pool of death to find an ingredient called ice crystal stalactite." "Ice crystal stalactite? Isn't that the special ingredient I reported to President Yilong a while ago?" "Oh, so that clerk is you." Su-Yun's eyes also lit up, not expecting such a coincidence. In this way, he doesn't have to waste time looking for a way. Just ask Adesino to take him there. Chapter 69, Agate Grapes. Amazing temptation. Please order all. Early the next morning, the two of Su-Yun walked out of the cave. The two proceeded according to the route agreed upon last night. Su-Yun will go to help Adesino capture the herbal ingredients first, and then Adesino will take him to the death-cold pool. Go here. Adesino had been in the underground forest for quite a while, so he was familiar with the route. Soon, the two came to the location where the herbal ingredients were. Into the eye is an extremely tall tree, roughly estimated to be more than 100 meters. The canopy is luxuriant and the branches and leaves are dense. The ingredient is under the tree, called Solanum vulgaris. The capture level is 191, and it can dissolve more than 100 kinds of highly poisonous. As for the beast that attacked me yesterday, it was a bear paw mole with a capture level of 209. It would suddenly burrow out of the ground and attack when people were attracted by the ingredients. 99, I was on alert for a long time yesterday, but I didn't expect the attack to come from underground, so I was injured so badly. Adesino looked at the gleaming golden nightshade under the giant tree, thinking of what happened yesterday, and said with lingering fears. Got it. 35 Su Yun nodded and said, Then, you pretend to collect herbs in the past, and I will kill it in seconds as soon as it emerges. But you should be very careful and be on your guard. Saying that, Adesino was about to get up and walk towards the 707 side. Puff! However, at this moment, a 5-meter-long creature with a mole body and a pair of bare paws on its hands suddenly emerged from the soil. Seeing this, Artesino squatted back and whispered, What's going on, Mr. Su Yun? Have we been discovered? It's not quite like it. You look at it from the other side. Su Yun shook his head with some doubts in his heart. Sure. The bear paw mole tugged at the dirt and ran away quickly, without even looking at them. What's the situation? Su Yun and Artesino looked at each other. Could it be that this bear paw mole is very intelligent? Do you already know how to play hard to catch? The two, who were worried about cheating, crouched for nearly 10 minutes, but the bear paw mole had not returned. It seems that there are two situations. In the first case, it might be attracted to something. If this is the case, we have to collect those nightshade grasses quickly and then follow them to see. Maybe we can get some benefits. In the second case, it may have discovered us long ago, which is an illusion it deliberately created. Maybe it burrowed into the ground far away, then dug a tunnel and ran back here to ambush us. So don't take it lightly. Su Yun fully analyzed its abnormal behavior in these 10 minutes and said cautiously, I'll be careful, Artesino nodded solemnly. After speaking, the two stopped hiding and swaggered towards the cluster of nightshade. However, the spirit is always tense, guarding against any changes that may occur at any time. However, they were not attacked until all the nightshade was collected. It seems to be the first case. Su Yun and Adesino looked at each other with indescribable excitement in their eyes. The bear paw mole, a creature that lives in a dark corner, left the nest voluntarily at this time. This shows that it is very likely that the incredible ingredients are ripe, so the two did not hesitate, and immediately followed the footprints left by the bear paw mole and ran all the way. After walking about 2 kilometers, they smelled a delicate fragrance. The further you go, the stronger the fragrance becomes. After walking 3 kilometers again, they saw a group of huge beasts are fighting each other. Bear paw moles are among them. It's just that the bear paw mole was at the bottom of the list, and it didn't take long for it to be beaten and defeated, vomiting blood. But it seems to have lost its mind, and it has been attacking frantically. It seems that the grapes above their heads were responsible for this scene. 99 Su Yun looked over the heads of the group of beasts, climbing the thick vines among the giant trees. On the vines, there are clusters of crystal-like, dream-like green agate and apple-like grapes. The delicate fragrance that Su Yun and the two of them smelled was from those grapes. Name: agate grape type. Fruit capture level: level 135, level 316 when mature. Habitat: underground forest. Body length: 15 centimeters. Weight: 300 g. Price: 1 piece / 20 million yuan, 3 bak, billion yuan after maturity. Introduction. Dream grapes that ripen every 100 years. The color of the grapes will change from green to red after ripening. When it is about to mature, it will release a fragrance covering a radius of 3 kilometers. Although it is only the size of an apple, due to its high density, hundreds of liters of natural juice with dozens of flavors can be squeezed out of just one. These juices have their own carbonated bubbles, which are cool and refreshing in the mouth. In addition, a 750 milliliters bottle of wine made from the juice of agate grapes can be sold for 100 million yuan. Yeah, the conditioned reflex caused by the amazing aroma. These beasts are all confused by this aroma and lose their minds. Adesino muttered. Even she, smelling this fragrance, couldn't control herself. Not to mention those stubborn beasts. Agate grapes? I really want to eat them. Su Yun also looked at the bunch of alluring agate grapes with fiery eyes. If such top-level raw materials are put into the winemaking space, what kind of amazing wine can be brewed? He said to Adesino, Let's just sit and reap the benefits of the fishermen, and when they are almost finished, we will go to the end. There are 2 beasts of more than 300 levels there, but they were besieged by a group of low-level beasts around, and they also suffered a lot of injuries. When they decide the winner, we will go over to make up for it. Fixing knife? What does that mean? Adesino wondered. You can understand it as grabbing the head. Suyin couldn't think of any other words for a while, so he had to explain it like this. Grab a head. Adesino was even more puzzled. Cough. Don't worry. Just observe the situation carefully. 99. Oh, fine as time flows. The battle on the field reached a white-hot stage. Many lower-level beasts, such as bear-paw moles, have already fallen to the ground, and their life and death are unknown. And those high-level beasts are also scarred and obviously in poor condition. Even some beasts less than level 100 were attracted by the aroma and joined the battlefield. Just before he got close, he was swept to death by the aftermath of the battle. For a time, corpses were scattered all over the ground. Blood was pouring out. As for those agate grapes, they are more and more glittering and dreamy. There was a faint red light flickering in between, and the fragrance exuded was even more charming, causing Su Yun to start to move. Waited another 10 minutes. In the field, there are only 2 beasts of more than 300 levels still fighting each other. One is the level 320 stone hammer tasker. The other is King Kong of level 315. Boom! 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 Finally, the result of the battle came out. The stone hammer tasker, who has an incomparably powerful defense, is even better. It threw the stone hammer at the end of its tail and kept smashing at King Kong, smashing its blood into a blur. Ow! King Kong collapsed to the ground, whimpered but could not get up again. And at this moment, the bunch of agate grapes suddenly gave off a strong red light. Each string turned from emerald green to bright red, looking fresh and tender, and the already amazing aroma increased exponentially. Onyx grapes ripe? Ask for a subscription, ask for a monthly pass, ask for flowers, ask for a reward, ask for an evaluation ticket. Thank you very much. Chapter 70 Great Harvest. Picking up more than 40 kinds of ingredients for free. Please order all. In the previous chapter, I forgot to write about the weight of agate grapes when they are ripe, and they are 200 kilograms when they are ripe. This density is similar to that of rainbow fruit, so it should be reasonable. Kuru, stone hammer tasker, howled excitedly to the sky. These ripe agate grapes from now on are all owned by it. However, at this moment, it felt something was not quite right. In the sky, why is there a foreign object flying towards you? It looks like a human being. At this time, in its eyes, a human being is holding a wooden board-like thing, falling from the sky, and it is about to fall on its head. It instinctively sensed danger, want to move the location, but for some reason, its body was 10 times heavier, and its legs seemed to be nailed to the ground. In addition, I had just experienced a big battle and was exhausted. So despite its great efforts, it still only moved a distance of less than 2 meters. In the end, he could only watch the human wave the wooden board and hit it on the head. Stay! With a severe blow, the stone hammer tasker was suddenly dizzy. However, with a strong physique, it will not be defeated so easily. Kuru! Stone hammer tasker roared stubbornly, looking at the human who dared to attack it with blood-red eyes. It swears that when it can act normally, it will definitely let the human being in front of it pay for it. State! A series of knocking sounds came out. Stone hammer tasker's thoughts were knocked off immediately. Even though its outer shell is wrapped in stone, its body is still very fragile and cannot bear such a heavy force. After being knocked several times, he almost fainted and his huge body fell heavily to the ground. This thing is quite resistant to beatings. It makes my hands numb. That human is naturally Su Yun. He looked at the stone hammer tasker, whose body was still twitching, and went to make up for it a few more times. When it stopped moving, it raised its head and looked at those dreamy-looking grapes fiery. Mr. Su Yun, we have to hurry up. There are a lot of new beasts coming this way. In the distance, Adesino, who was in charge of tracking, said anxiously. Okay, understand. Su Yun took a deep breath and immediately flew up to the giant tree. Put the agate grapes together with the vines into the kitchen space. Immediately afterwards, the corpses of the beasts on the ground were not spared. Since you are reaping the benefits of the fishermen, you have to do it thoroughly. Soon, the corpses of nearly 40 more beasts appeared in the kitchen space. Most of them are beasts above level 200. Hemp up, hemp up. 39 so many ingredients, almost no effort to get them all. 35 Su Yun happily returned to Artesino. The two chose a direction that was free from beasts and left this place of right and wrong. They walked all the way to the direction of Death Cold Pool. While on the way saw a hidden cave, the two discussed it and decided to take a break here, eat and drink before continuing. In the cave, Su Yun took out the ingredients that she had just harvested and cooked them one after another. With so many ingredients, there is always one or two that can activate his cells. The level has been improved, and it will be more secure to enter the cold pool of death at that time. Because according to Artesino, she does not have enough strength to enter the cold pool of death. It's just that when I investigate the ecology, I found the surrounding vision. Combined with the literature seen in the past, it is calculated that the ice crystal stalactites are about to mature. So in fact, both of them knew little about the specific situation in the cold pool of death. In short, be careful. Mr. Su Yun, let me help you cook together. At this time, Adesino stepped forward and said, Okay, sorry to trouble you. Su Yun nodded. There are more than 40 kinds of ingredients. It is indeed a bit difficult to cook, and it would be better if someone helped. Moreover, at the level of Adesino's 7-star chef, he will definitely be able to cook these ingredients quickly and well. So, with the concerted cooperation of the two people in the cave, the aroma soon filled the air. Then, thanks to all the ingredients in this world we're on, after finishing the meal etiquette, Su Yun took the lead to pick up a piece of grilled golden and crispy meat and ate it with a satisfied smile on his face. After eating, he picked up the meat of another beast and ate it. It's just that the new one just entered, and he frowned. The meat of the bear paw mole, just now, was delicious and chewy. But the meat of the two-tailed wild boar tasted dry and woody. The former has a capture level of 209, while the latter's capture level is only 93. Whether it's strength or taste, the difference is not a star and a half. I didn't feel anything when I ate ma'am yesterday, but when I compare it today, I will find that the ingredients in the gourmet world are indeed much better than those in the human world. Hearing this, Adesino nodded in agreement. That's how it is. Creatures in the food world rarely enter the human world because the food in the food world is more delicious. Zero flowers. In this world where food is paramount, whether it is humans or animals, they are all pursuing the ultimate delicacy. In the human world, except for a few extremely well-known ingredients such as century soup, puffer whale, and sweet cola, the taste of other ingredients is basically incomparable to the food world. The underground forest is also because of its special geographical location, which leads to the coexistence of the beasts of the food world and the beasts of the human world. Adesino entered the food industry early and has a wide range of knowledge and a profound view on many things. Therefore, Su Yun suddenly felt that he had found a bosom friend and had a great time talking with her. While chatting, they nibbled away these ingredients. The enormous energy contained in these ingredients. The cells of both people were activated. Su Yun's level has been raised again by 20, and it is now 310. After the main meal, the next step is dessert, agate grapes. With that said, Su Yun took out a bunch of crystal ruddy agate grapes. A single agate grape can reach 200 kilograms when it is mature, from 300 g when it is just grown, through the continuous supply of nutrients from the vine. It's hard to imagine how much juice is in it. Pick up a few and hand them to Artesino. He also picked one and bit it like an apple. Chill. Heavy and thick flesh, but unexpectedly good bite. The crust melts in your mouth like ice cream with a hint of sweetness. Take a small bite of the pulp in your mouth, and a steady stream of natural juices will flow out of it. The explosive deliciousness washed Su Yun's taste buds, the taste of strawberry, the taste of apple, the taste of peach. Like a treasure chest of juice, all kinds of fruit flavors emerge from it. At the same time, small and cold air bubbles appeared and burst continuously, irritating the mouth, as if drinking carbonated soda. After holding it for about 10 minutes, the small piece of pulp was still oozing juice. Su Yun had no doubt that it would take at least half an hour for it to drain. So he began to chew, and under this chew, it was a wonderful taste like pufferfish whale meat. It took the two of them a long time to finish the bunch of agate grapes. Although they failed to activate the cells, The incomparable deliciousness made the two of them feel full of happiness and emotion. Afterwards, the two rectified and continued to walk towards the cold pool of death. Asked for subscription, asked for monthly pass, asked for flowers, asked for reward, asked for evaluation ticket. Thank you very much. Chapter 71, Dead Jellyfish. The Shell of Extreme Cold. Please complete order. After walking for some time, Su-yin felt that the surrounding environment became silent. The figures of beasts that can be seen everywhere also gradually disappeared. At this time, Adesino pointed to a place in the distance and said, "Mr. Su-yin, do you see that tree?" Hearing this, Su-yin looked up. I saw that it was a tree with a height of more than 50 meters, and the whole seemed to be frozen into an ice sculpture. In addition, there were several beasts which were frozen in the ice together. It's a fallen tree. Once the prey gets under the tree, it will immediately drop water missiles from the leaves. After killing the prey, it will be used directly as nutrients. It is a terrifying plant and beast. I was near the fallen tree, and it suddenly froze into an ice sculpture right under my nose. 99. The cold pool of death is a few kilometers away from the fallen tree, and the distance between the two has remained the same, but the strange thing is that the fallen tree was unharmed before, but it was frozen at that time, indicating that there is something in the cold pool of death. Mutations happen. It is through the phenomenon of 707, combined with the literature compiled by food hunters in the early days, that I analyzed that the ice crystal stalactites may be mature. Adesino spoke eloquently. It makes sense. Su-yin nodded, agreeing with this assumption, and then curiously asked, "When the old man Yilong told me that it still has about 10 days to mature, how does this mature date come out?" "It depends on the extent of the spread of the cold. 10 days ago, when I reported the situation to President Yilong, the cold air spread to the fallen tree. 99, but you see now, that cold air has spread out for nearly 100 meters again." Adesino pointed to Su-yin with his hand, and then pointed to a square stone. That stone existed a long time ago, and the data also shows that when the ice crystal stalactite matures, the cold air spreads to the ends at that stone, and I rely on this to calculate its maturity date. 5. Okay, I see. Su-yin nodded knowingly. Then I saw that the cold had quickly reached the stone. He no longer hesitated at the moment and said, "Miss Adesino, according to what you said, the ice crystal stalactites should mature soon. So I'll stop the ink and go straight to it now." 35. Wait for me here for a while. "Well, I'm really sorry, Mr. Su-yin." Adesino apologized. "I should have followed you in, but the low temperature there is not something I can contend with, so it's okay, wait for my good news." Su-yin smiled confidently and walked in the direction of the cold pool of death. "Come on, be sure to return safely." Adesino shouted loudly. Su-yin turned her back to her and waved, and crossed the fallen tree that was frozen into an ice sculpture, and walked to the depths. As he moved forward, the plants began to become rarer and rarer. At the same time, a strong cold air surged around. The ground was also covered with frost, and it was a little slippery to walk. And when he walked another 2 kilometers, the plants had completely disappeared. The ground has also become ice. Through the cold air that permeated everywhere, he could vaguely see a pool in front of him. Su-yin walked there quickly. "Follow him to the edge of the pool. The body temperature around me may have dropped to a level of minus 150 degrees. This is just outside the pool. It is hard to imagine how cold it would be to enter the pool." Su-yin looked at the pool. I saw the cold air on the water surface, and the pool water reflected the cold light, which made people feel terrified. In an environment of more than 100 degrees below zero, these pools still do not freeze, which is very strange. The lake is about 10 meters long and 8 meters wide. I don't know how deep it is. The pool water is still dark. Isn't it poisonous? Su-yin dipped his hand in the pool water and waited for a while. The fingers were not corroded, and the body did not experience discomfort. It means that the pond water should not be poisonous. Adesino said that there is a hole somewhere in this pool, and through that hole, you can find the cave where the ice crystal stalactites are located. I wanted to see if I could see the hole directly from above, but this pool, the water is so dark, you can see a ghost. With a helpless rant, Su-yin no longer hesitated. and jumped into the cold pool of death with a plop. Entering the cold pool, the vision unexpectedly brightened a lot. The pool water is not as dark as it looks from the outside. On the contrary, it is clear and transparent. And at the bottom of this pond, it seemed that something was glowing, and the pool was illuminated by a faint blue. Let's find the edge of the pool first. It's unlikely that the hole is at the bottom. Thinking like this, Suyun also went upstream. However, at this moment, one after another, translucent tentacles suddenly appeared strangely, wrapping around towards Suyun. Suyun was startled and turned to look. But it was a jellyfish-like creature that came behind him at some point. Name: dead jellyfish type. Seafood capture level. Level 3, 81 habitat. In the chilled pool of death in the underground forest body length. 1 m weight. 0.5 t price. 1 p/330 million yuan introduction. The body is made of agar, and it floats in the sea by opening and closing umbrellas. Although it is a food with a strong odor, if it is specially treated, it can be cooked without inducing the odor. It has a unique, flavorful, very tasty ingredients, but most people are frozen by its surface temperature before they can cook it. The death jellyfish wrapped its tentacles around Suyun like a boa constrictor, strangling its prey. Suyun struggled to break free. Although this dead jellyfish has a catch level of 381, but its real combat power, for Suyun, is probably around level 200. After all, as one of the important weapons of the dead jellyfish, extremely low temperature, it can only cause a negligible impact on Suyun. As if feeling the resistance of the prey, the tentacles of the death jellyfish enveloped Suyun again, trying to drag him to the bottom of the pool. Knife! Suyun's right hand flickered, cutting off the tentacles of the dead jellyfish. 35 The death jellyfish seemed to possess the super speed regeneration ability like a demonic snake. The wound that was cut by Suyun soon wriggled and grew new tentacles. It stretched out its tentacles again and circled towards Suyun. At the same time, the movement here attracted its kind, and more dead jellyfish came around. At a glance, there are probably dozens of them. Grandma, there's a way to heaven and you don't go, and there is no way to hell, you break in. 35 Give me death. Suyun condensed dozens of flying chopsticks and flicked them. They shot out from different angles, accurately piercing the brain of each dead jellyfish. Once the brain is destroyed, the hyper-regenerating ability does not work. Suddenly, these dead jellyfish fell to the bottom of the pool like raindrops. Suyun kept moving through the water, picking up the dead jellyfish one by one and putting them in the kitchen space. During the salvage process, he unknowingly came to the bottom of the pool. At the same time, I also saw those luminous substances, which are actually small and exquisite shellfish ingredients. Name: chilled shell type. Seafood capture level. Level 368 habitat. In the chilled pool of death in the underground forest body length. 10 centimeters to 30 centimeters weight. 5 kilograms price. 1 piece/30 million yuan introduction. The shellfish creatures located in the cold pool of death, which is more than 200 degrees below zero, belong to special cooking ingredients. If you eat it directly, it will freeze people to death, but it seems to be a rare delicacy for some people. Its taste is like clams, the meat is thick and delicious, and it can be cooked or eaten raw. Ask for a subscription, ask for a monthly pass, ask for flowers, ask for a reward, ask for an evaluation ticket. Thank you very much. Chapter 72 Ice Crystal Stalactites. Learn to elementalize. Please complete order. The shell of the extreme cold. It's a good thing. Suyun's eyes lit up and took them all. Like this kind of food with its own ice properties. Generally speaking, it can enhance his ice power. But the effect of the increase is large and small. Anyway, it is definitely not as good as ice crystal stalactites. Then keep looking for holes, come to the wall. Suyun held an extremely cold shell and used it as a flashlight to illuminate the darkness around him. He groped inch by inch. There were 2 more attacks during this period. The beast that attacked him. They are level 401 blue-blooded water snakes and a level 394 spider jellyfish. Both of these creatures are highly poisonous, and there are no less than 50 types of highly toxic toxins in their bodies. If it weren't for his power of regeneration, he could purify toxins. I'm afraid it will be explained here today. However, after these 2 waves of battles, there were more than 100 kinds of highly toxic antibodies in his body. On the character panel, the column of primary toxicity resistance has been changed to intermediate toxicity resistance. This made Suyun wonder. If you have time later, do you want to borrow 10 drops of Coco's blood to improve your antitoxicity? While thinking about it, he also finally found a hole in a wall. The opening is very small, only about 1 meter in diameter. Suyun didn't hesitate and went straight in. With his strong physique, it is really difficult to move between the narrow channels. Fortunately, the pipe is very short. Soon, he emerged from the other end of the hole. The scenery that greeted his eyes made him feel suddenly enlightened, and this was actually a wide underground river. However, the temperature of this underground river is even lower than that of the cold pool of death. The temperature in the cold pool of death was about minus 210 degrees, which he could still accept. But this underground river is probably minus 230 degrees. Even with his special physique, it is difficult to resist. Frost began to condense on his head out of the water, and his body still in the water began to shiver. The whole person is like falling into an ice cellar. However, Suyun had no other thoughts at this time. Only joy was left in his heart. Because in the empty cave in front of the underground river, there is a cone-shaped object that hangs upside down and is crystal clear. Drops of milky white liquid slowly slipped from the cone-shaped object. It fell into a small pool like a stone bowl below. It was his dream ingredient, ice crystal stalactite. Name, ice crystal stalactite type. Stone capture level. Level 468 habitat. In the chilled pool of death in the underground forest body length. 10 weight. Price. 1 piece / 35 billion yuan introduction. It matures every 1,000 years. It contains the ice essence that has been condensed in the cold pool of death for thousands of years. The temperature it brings is below minus 250 degrees. Although it is not aggressive, its temperature is enough to make all creatures close to it die quickly. Its tip will drip a liquid that tastes like super thick milk, and the liquid will accumulate in the spring below the stalactite, which can be made into the ultimate ice crystal butter. Suyun walked out of the underground river and came to the cave. He fixed his eyes on the ice crystal stalactite. Cells around the body began to cheer, obviously eager for it. Suyun walked step by step, frost all over his body. The body swings involuntarily, which is a natural reaction of the body under extreme cold. At the same time, a sharp pain came from the body. Suyun knew something was wrong. This was the pain caused by the cells being frozen to necrosis because they could not adapt to the extreme low temperature. If it lasts for a long time, I am afraid it will cause irreversible damage to his body. So he used trembling to generate heat, while running towards the ice crystal stalactite at the fastest speed. Fortunately, no creatures can survive around the ice crystal stalactites. Therefore, without any hindrance, he successfully came to the ice crystal stalactite. Approaching the object below minus 250 degrees, even trembling and heat generation will not have much effect. There was constant pain all over the body. Suyun did not hesitate, not even the etiquette of eating. Open your mouth directly and bite into the ice crystal stalactite. Crack! It's very light and crunchy, just like chewing fruit candy. In the mouth, it has a sweet taste like top animal cream. The strange thing is that although this ice crystal stalactite is extremely cold in appearance, but after eating it I felt a sense of warmth. The contrast formed between them made Suyun exclaim it was incredible. Crack clap. A 10-meter-long ice crystal stalactite is not much. With Suyun's full firepower, he was eliminated in a few minutes. The melted liquid travels down the esophagus and into the body. It is then absorbed by the blood and runs around along the blood vessels. A trace of peculiar power differentiated and penetrated into the cells, strengthening and amplifying the power of ice. After a while, all the power was absorbed. Suyun only felt that she had learned a lot of skills without a teacher. As soon as he thought about it, his entire body suddenly decomposed into a torrent of countless ice particles. The torrent of particles moved forward, then quickly regrouped in one location. Its speed is so fast that it can be called a teleportation. Ice skates. Another thought came. Su Yun's arm, scattered into countless ice particles. It was then reassembled into a long knife of ice. Ice shield. Su Yun opened his palm, and a large number of ice particles left the cells, followed the meridians, and came out of the body. Then, under his control, in the air, it condensed into an ice shield that was 30 meters long. Ice meteorite. Another fun idea suddenly popped up in his mind, so Su Yun put it into practice. I saw that under his will, the ultra-miniature meteorites with a straight 707 diameter and 3 meters smashed into the underground river like shooting stars, causing countless waves. Su Yun became very playful and stopped after trying out various moves. Satisfied smile. Elementalization is so powerful, not to mention being invincible for a short period of time. So many new skills can be developed. Now, I have learned most of Zebra's skills. What kind of sound wall, sound wave rockets, and the like. Come to me, it's the ice wall, the ice rockets. Open the character panel. Host, Su Yun physique. 80-85 food luck. 90 cooking level. Level 7 ability. Intimidation, advanced food skills, intermediate acupuncture, intermediate poison resistance, food demon, 20% awakening degree. Food discrimination, gravity field, up to 35 times. Food righteousness, dance of the sky, suppression, ice power, elementalization. Can condense a radius of 5,000 meters. Regeneration power, mirror spirit, super taste, kitchen space. Onyx grape, hammer tasker, King Kong. Winemaking space, 695 years of shochu, 683 years of brandy, 691 years of white wine. Cultivation space, air water sauce wild pig, white sugar whale. Capture level, level 385. Current mission, none. Ask for a monthly pass. Ask for flowers, ask for a reward, ask for an evaluation ticket. Thank you very much. Chapter 73, A New Mission. Returning to the human world. Please complete the order. It's really cool. Learning elementalization has made me straight up to level 75. This trip to the underground forest is really worth it. 9. Taking back the character panel, Su Yun smiled happily. After he collected the ice crystal milk, he left here. On the way back, he gave the elemental movement a name. Named Ice Step. After all, it's awkward and unpleasant to cry like this who has been moving in elemental form. Su Yun used ice shadow steps all the way to hurry, and the time was greatly shortened. But accordingly, the energy consumption is also greatly increased. But he is still fresh. Therefore, it is not stingy to pay for energy and enjoy the pleasure of instantaneous movement. At such super high speed, it didn't take long. Su Yun saw Artesino in the distance. A smirk twitched at the corner of his mouth. Su Yun's thoughts moved, and the figure disappeared in place. The next moment, he immediately appeared in front of Artesino. What? Artesino was looking anxiously in the direction of Death Chill. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in front of him. Without thinking about it, he directly waved his hand, and a scalpel-like energy flew out. When? Now Artesino's strength is far behind Su Yun. Therefore, the latter just raised his hand and erased that energy. Miss Artesino, is this how you greet my return? Su Yun pretended to be innocent, completely forgetting who caused the trouble. Why are you, Mr. Su Yun? Only then did Artesino see the face of the person who came. Immediately, she blushed and bowed in apology. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. The other party's solemn apology left Su Yun somewhat at a loss as to what to do. He hurriedly stopped Artesino and said, It's okay, it's my fault first, I'm the one who scared you first. However, Mr. Su Yun, what was your move just now? Why does it feel like you appeared in front of me out of thin air? After figuring out that this was just a misunderstanding, Artesino calmed down and asked curiously. Su Yun smiled and said, The news that there are ice crystal stalactites in the cold pool of death is true. After I captured it. After roughly speaking about what happened in the cold pool of death, Artesino also nodded. She looked at Su Yun. Since your target ingredients have been successfully captured and your strength has been improved, what are your plans for the next few days? Do you want to stay here or go somewhere else? Well, it depends on the situation. Su Yun thought for a while and said, If the system issues a task, then he must focus on the task. And if the task doesn't come, you can stay here for a few days. After all, he has not caught many high-grade ingredients here. However, at this moment, it was as if he heard Su Yun's heart. The system has issued a task reminder after a long absence. Ding! System task refresh. Capture meteorite garlic. Reward intuition. Physique plus 500. Food luck plus 2. Cooking ability plus 300. Hearing this, Su Yun was slightly taken aback. Meteorite garlic? Isn't that an ingredient located in a gourmet casino? As for intuition, it's also a good thing. It allows Su Yun to give up unnecessary thinking and rely more on the subconscious. After having an intuition, not only can it be more beneficial in battle, it can quickly predict the enemy's attack and attack the enemy's fatal shortcomings. It also works on natural substances such as water and gases such as hormones that are invisible to the naked eye. So of course this mission cannot be missed. Thought here. Su Yun also changed his words. Miss Artisino, it seems that I can't stay here anymore. I have to go back to the human world first. Oh, okay, disappointment flashed across Artisino's face. But then she smiled again. Maybe we will meet again soon. After I have finished investigating the ecological situation here, I will also go to the world of the human world, and I will see you then. 95, well, goodbye by fate. After that, the two of them said goodbye. Su Yun used the air dance technique and left the underground forest directly. Then I called Coco, and after confirming that he was in Food Fajin, I flew there. To capture meteorite garlic, you must rely on the power of Coco's supervision. Otherwise, if he rushed over alone, he might be killed by the boss Lebiala there. And Coco has now returned to work as a food hunter. But occasionally, he still works part-time as a fortune teller. After arriving at Gourmet Fajin, Su Yun saw that Coco was doing a divination there, surrounded by a lot of nympho beautiful girls. Come on, Su Yun-kun. Coco looked at Su Yun and smiled. Then his face suddenly changed. You guy, what's going on? The improvement in strength is too exaggerated. He couldn't help but exclaimed. Compared with a few months ago, the intensity of the electromagnetic waves emitted by Su Yun was as bright as a firefly. 66 he luckily got a little chance. Having said that, Su Yun gestured to Coco with his eyes. Coco understood in seconds, and after persuading the surrounding nympho beautiful girls to leave, he closed the door of the fortune-telling room. Seeing that there were finally no idle people waiting around, Su Yun talked about the business. This time I came to you, mainly because I wanted you to accompany me to the Gourmet Casino to catch meteorite garlic. Meteorite garlic? Is it the one I thought? Hearing this, Coco was taken aback. As far as he knows, meteorite garlic is an incredible garlic that grows in small amounts only in the year when the meteorite falls. It absorbs nutrients from the nearby soil when it grows, so it is very rich in nourishing ingredients. I heard that people who eat it can move normally without sleeping for almost a whole month. It is also known as exciting garlic, and there are food restrictions on it. But the reason why you can't see it on the market is not because of the restrictions of the 8 methods of food, but because it is too rare and precious. It should be what you think. Xiao Xiao is. It's now on display as a Gourmet Casino prize. 35, but I don't know anything about gambling, so I still have to rely on the ability of your eyes. Su Yun said. Okay, I understand. Let's pack up and go now. Coco agreed without hesitation. After all, after seeing the gap in strength between himself and Su Yun getting bigger and bigger, he felt very uncomfortable. Although it is almost impossible to catch up, at least the gap should be narrowed. The meteorite garlic capture level exceeds 90, which is a super high-grade ingredient for him at present. After eating it, he may be able to break through the cell level. So this rare opportunity must not be missed. So soon, the two got on an underground train running 500 meters underground, leading to the kingdom of Jiro. Ask for a monthly pass, ask for flowers, ask for a reward, ask for an evaluation ticket. Thank you very much. This chapter contains pictures. Click the illustration button in the lower right corner of the screen to view the pictures. Chapter 74 Absurd Free Market Labyrinth of Desire. Please complete. The Kingdom of Jiro is a non-member country of IGO. It's a food crime-ridden area. It also has the #1 casino in the world. While known as the Kingdom of Crime, It also has the title of Entertainment Holy Land. There is absolutely no restriction on the 8 laws of food. Therefore, there are many black market traded ingredients that cannot be obtained through formal channels. Like poison puffer whales, they are sold here. And the organization in charge of black market transactions is the so-called underground cooking world. Su-Yun and Coco took the train for a day and a night and finally arrived in the kingdom of Jiro. As soon as I got off the train, I was provoked by a bunch of gangsters who didn't have long eyes. Su-Yun raised his finger and beat them to the Flying Queen. Then walk in the direction of the Gourmet Casino. Before reaching the casino, they need to pass through a tattered Liberty Bazaar. This market sells dangerous poisonous ingredients. As soon as Su-Yun stepped in, they saw a bunch of bananas emitting electric light. Name: electric banana type. Fruit capture level: level 10 habitat. Underground channel circulation body length: 25 centimeters weight. 370 G price. 1 piece/1,000 yuan introduction. A banana that will be electrocuted when touched, as long as 707 can peel off the skin smoothly. You can taste the numbing deliciousness. The bananas that have fallen on thunder are particularly delicious. An electric current will flow in the body when you take a bite, but the poison is very strong, and it is designated as a second-level poisoning ingredient, which is a dangerous ingredient that is prohibited from market circulation. Electric bananas. If you eat them, you will feel as if you are electrocuted. If you buy them, you will earn them. Look at it. Look at it. The poison puffer whale will die after one bite, but it's delicious. This is a poison starfish. It's very cheap. Do you want to buy it and try it? Along the way, many vendors looked at Su-Yun and Coco's expensive clothes and came to sell them enthusiastically. Naturally, the two of Su-Yun ignored them and walked straight through the market without even looking at them. And as they moved forward, the surrounding scenery also changed. The buildings have changed from dilapidated brick houses to high-rise buildings made of reinforced concrete. Pedestrians' clothing has also undergone significant changes. From tattered clothes like beggars to well-dressed like successful people in the upper class. Obviously, it belongs to the wealthy area of the Jidar Kingdom. Concentrated here, there are gambling gourmet hunters and the Bak, upper class of various countries. They come here from all over the world to play. After walking another distance, the two of Su-Yun finally saw an iconic building. It is resplendent, beautiful in shape, and exudes colorful and dazzling lights. Even from hundreds of meters away, you can see it at a glance. That's the Gourmet Casino. There are more than 1 million casinos in the world, and the Gourmet Casino in Jidal Kingdom is undoubtedly the first among them. It is known for having the largest footprint and the most tourists. Among the casinos involving poison ingredients, there is a scale that overwhelms the pack. In addition to this, its daily capital flow is as high as 100 trillion yuan. It is not an exaggeration to call it the Entertainment Kingdom. And in order to maximize the customer source to stay here, the Gourmet Casino even has several top 10-star hotels and restaurants around it. All in all, Gourmet Casino is the most famous tourist destination in Chittagong Kingdom. It's finally here, Gourmet Casino. Su-Yun looked at the building in front of her, felt the warm atmosphere around her, and suddenly became excited. Come on, let's go bet. Coco also smiled slightly, showing incomparable confidence all over his body. When it comes to gambling, he really hasn't been afraid of anyone. When the 5 Heavenly Kings played poker and bet together as a child, there was not a single time when he was not a big winner. With that said, the two walked into the Gourmet Casino that was like a pedestrian street. By the way, Coco, do you know who owns the Gourmet Casino? 5 looking at the extravagant surroundings, Su-Yun asked suddenly. I don't know. Whose it is? Coco asked. This time, he came in a hurry and didn't have time to make preparations, so he didn't know much about this aspect. However, he is also curious as to who has the ability to manage such a large casino. The scale of the capital flow of this casino is comparable to the Gourmet Arena in the first courtyard. It's the underground cooking world. It's an underground organization that specializes in producing poisonous dishes that regular stores don't have. They spread new varieties of poison ingredients and dishes everywhere. 35. And when it comes to the boss of the underground cooking world, it is the dark chef Leb Beala, who ranks 17th in the world of chefs. We may have to meet this guy soon. You have to be mentally prepared. This person is a complete pervert. Hearing this, Coco nodded solemnly and replied, I see. To be called a pervert by someone with such strength as Su Yun must be quite chilling. While talking, they had unknowingly come to the general main area of the Gourmet Casino. It is also called the Labyrinth of Desire. There are various gaming facilities throughout. In the central area, there is also a huge LCD screen. It says today's prize ingredients. Grand prize: crocodile and pig catch level 58 remaining quantity. 1 first prize: fried rock catch level 39 remaining quantity. 3 second prize: sapphire melon catch level 29 remaining quantity. 8 Wow, it is indeed a gourmet casino. The number of games is so amazing, and the prize ingredients are also rare high-end ingredients. Su Yun raised an eyebrow and said, Hee, indeed, with my current strength, that crocodile pig can't beat it. I didn't expect that everyone would take it out as a prize. Coco is also marveling at the gourmet casino's big money. Let's go over and exchange chips first. Practice your hands from the low-level area first, and then go to the high-level area to touch Labiala. 359, it is good. The two came to the chip exchange office. The coins used in gourmet casinos were originally used to make bets for fun, but they can actually be eaten as ingredients. The higher the denomination of the coin, the more delicious it tastes. Indulge in its taste, but instead of gambling, people addicted to eating chips. Coco, it's you who helped me this time, so you don't have to pay the money. Let me exchange it. Saying that, Su Yun exchanged 10 billion chips without blinking. Among them, 5 billion was exchanged for 50 chip coins with a face value of 100 million. The remaining 5 billion were exchanged for a number of 10 million, 1 million, and 100,000 chips respectively. Whoa! More than a few thousand chip coins flowed out like water. It attracted the astonishment of countless passers-by around. Ask for a monthly pass. Ask for flowers. Ask for a reward. Ask for an evaluation ticket. Thank you very much. This chapter contains pictures. Click the illustration button in the lower right corner of the screen to view the pictures. Chapter 75 100 Face Slot Machine. Enter the VIP area. Please order all. You must have changed too much. Su Yun-kun. Coco stood aside with a black line on his face. What does it matter? When you come to a place like this, the more money you have, the better. 5 Su Yun didn't care. As he said, he looked at the thousands of chip coins. Each of these food chips is golden. The higher the face value of the chip coins, the higher the color, brilliance, transparency, and the stronger the fragrance. Pick up a chip coin with a face value of 100 million and bite it down. Crispy and fragrant, as sweet as a top-notch and chewy. Coco, do you want to have a piece too? Coco wanted to refuse, but seeing the intoxicated look on Su Yun's face, he swallowed. Think about it anyway without his money. So he said, Then give me a piece. Kaza, it's really delicious. Yeah, I'll just say it, a few more bucks. Okay, kazie. In a short while, the two ate all the 100 million denominations of food chips. At this time, they remembered the real purpose of coming here and looked at each other for a while. And the passers-by on the sidelines are already stupid. By the way, these two are Coco and Su Yun from the 5 Heavenly Kings, right? Oh my God! 100 million and 1 chip coins. I ate them without blinking. To be honest, my heart throbbed with every bite they took. I have to say that the top food hunters have a strong ability to make money. I can eat 5 billion in 3 minutes. I don't even dare to dream like this. Mr. Su Yun and Mr. Coco are so handsome. I accidentally ate too much, but there are still 5 billion. It should be enough to gamble. Coco, you take 2.5 billion. I take 2.5 billion. We are divided. Su Yun picked up half of the chip coins and handed them to Coco. However, Coco actually pretended to be forced, and he smiled lightly. It doesn't need so much, just 2 million is enough. With that said, he took away 1 million chip coins with a calm expression on his face. Hey, it's also installed with me. Don't pull it down, then I'll eat it all. 35 Su Yun grabbed a handful of chips while holding a pile of chips and stuffed it into his mouth. He followed Coco to a slot machine tree. Name: slot machine tree species. Plants capture level. Level 6 habitat. Gourmet casino height. 7 meters weight. Price: 1/7 million yuan introduction. There are numbers 1 to 6 in the central part of the tree. By hitting the target under the numbers to turn the numbers, after collecting 3 identical numbers, the tree will bear fruit. Depending on the intensity of the blow, the number will also change. In addition, the larger the number of numbers collected, the better the taste of the fruit. However, it is quite difficult for a layman to get 3 of the same number. It seems that there are some highly skilled people who know the trick to that strike, but it is beyond reproach that it is best for laymen to avoid it. 1 hit 100,000 yuan. If you get 3 identical numbers, you will be refunded the amount that is a multiple of that number. The staff said politely, "Give you." Su Yun handed over a chip coin with a face value of 100,000. Then he came to the slot machine tree and punched the target on the tree. However, right at the moment of the punch, a strange feeling suddenly appeared in his mind. Beneath the blessing, he slightly changed the strength and angle of his punches. Boom! After a dull sound, the numbers on the slot machine tree roll in sequence. Eventually, it became the word 666. The top of the slot machine also bears a fruit marked 666. Great! As expected of food luck, even the luck when playing games can be improved. Su Yun was in a good mood after receiving the chips and slot machine fruit returned by the staff. Although the money is low, the ingredients are also low quality. But the feeling of winning by luck is very wonderful. Immediately after, Coco also tried it once. However, his luck was not as good as Su Yun, who punched the number 613. After playing the slot machine tree, the two of them went to play other projects, winning and losing. At this time, Su Yun suddenly said, "Let's go, Coco, let's go play something big." Let's go. Coco also understood what Su Yun meant in seconds. Talking room. Both eyes glanced at the ceiling imperceptibly. There are high-definition cameras all over the place. They knew that there must be many staff in the monitoring room watching their every move through the cameras. The two came to an extremely huge slot machine. The famous product of the Gourmet casino, 100-sided slot machine. There are 100 vertical sides and 100 horizontal sides. There are 60 patterns, and it rotates at a speed of 100 to 150 meters per second. The gambling capital is 1 million yuan. If you successfully collect a row of the same pattern, it will eventually be multiplied by 1 million times, which means you can get 1 trillion yuan. Coco, you play here, I'll play there. It is good. The two each came to a 100-sided slot machine. Su Yun took a deep breath and didn't look at Coco again. Turn on the switch of the slot machine on your own and put a 1 million food chip coin into it. This move attracted the attention of countless people around. Someone wants to challenge the 100-sided slot machine. Play $1 million at a time, but if you're not lucky, you'll lose everything. I've played it more than a dozen times, and I haven't earned a penny. Isn't that person food hunter Su Yun Sama? Wow, next to him is Lord Coco. 0 for flowers. Su Yun was completely focused, ignoring all the arguments, and concentrated on feeling the mysterious feeling in his mind. He has always had 100% trust in Su Yun. So he didn't even look at the screen, he just pressed a button by luck. Crack! 39 snapped. Crack! 5 as he pressed the button again and again. Moments later, a row of identical patterns appeared on the slot machine. And the other side, because Coco has terrifying dynamic vision. The slot machine's speed of less than 200 m per second was like being stationary to him. So he was very easy to succeed. Seeing this outrageous scene, the surrounding passers-by directly exploded the pot. Outrageous, outrageous. I've been playing here for many years, and this is the first time I've seen someone can line up the pattern, and it's 2 people at a time. It's actually assembled. This is the first time I've seen it assembled like this. Sir Su Yun, I love you. A few more times the Gourmet casino is going to be bankrupt. A clatter, because both of them succeeded in the challenge. The 200-face slot machines immediately spit out 10,000 chips with a face value of 100 million. Change the 2 trillion yuan into ingredients, Su Yun said to the staff. After a while, several staff pushed a mountain of delicious ingredients over. Next to the group of coolie staff, there was also a well-dressed person who looked like a casino cadre. He came to the two of Su Yun and smiled politely. Congratulations to the two of them for being blessed by the goddess of luck today. 99 Coco smiled and said, "Thank you, but I don't rely on luck, but on strength." Su Yun smiled. Yes, the goddess of luck is indeed on my side today. The casino officials didn't know what double reed the two were singing and were stunned for a moment. However, with a strong psychological quality, he quickly recovered his expression and said, "There are more interesting games in our VIP area. 2 guests must come and play." 55. As for these ingredients, they will be handed over to us for temporary storage. And when everything is over, they will be delivered to both of you in person. Hearing this, Su Yun smiled slightly and said, "Okay, it's exactly what I want." At the same time, Gourmet Casino top floor. In a dim room, a man dressed in white impermanence walked in. He respectfully said to the man lying on the bed, "Boss, there are top guests coming." Haha, the man on the bed was tall and had something like a water pipe stuck behind his head. Hearing his subordinate's words, he sat up and smiled strangely. 5 heavenly kings, Su Yun and Coco. I really want them to be my favorites. Next, let me meet them for a while. Ask for a monthly pass. Ask for flowers. Ask for a reward. Ask for an evaluation ticket. Thank you very much. This chapter contains pictures. Click the illustration button in the lower right corner of the screen to view the pictures. Chapter 76, The Big Gamble Between Life and Death. Lebiala appears. Please complete the order. The casino cadres took Su Yun and Coco to a low-key and luxurious aisle. Stepping on the carpet made of flame walrus fur with a capture level of 67, the cadre said, "From here, it's the VIP-only area. Usually only guests who are VIP members or guests who have spent more than 10 billion in a year can enter. This time, you are specially allowed to enter." Coco asked, "So why take us to the VIP area?" "Not just because we won. Because you have met another condition for entering this area, holding a lot of ingredients. In the general main area, betting is made with cash for chip coins. 35. But in the VIP area, the bet is based on the ingredients held by the guests. There, what the guests lose or get is only limited to the ingredients." While speaking, everyone came to the exit of this passage. "Come in." 35. The cadre bent slightly and opened the door. Whoops! As soon as Su Yun and Coco passed through the door, they saw a man covering his mouth with his hands and running towards them in a panic. Blood spattered profusely from between his fingers. Oops! Oops! Betting on the unpopular is too hard. I don't want to die. Save me. The man stumbled and ran towards them a few steps, and finally lost his vitality halfway and fell heavily to the ground. Ah! The cadre glanced at the man who fell to the ground, smiled contemptuously, and asked the cleaning staff to clean up the place as if nothing had happened. Apparently, this is commonplace. This is poisoning caused by eating poisonous apples. Coco looked at the man's purple-like skin and judged. It is more accurate to say that the bet is on the ingredients rather than the food. Su Yun glanced at the man's corpse lightly and turned his eyes to the lively and cruel area in front of him. I saw a huge pool in the center of the front. In the pool, several vicious sharks can be seen. Above the pool is a single-plank bridge only 30 centimeters wide. A pale-faced man with an iron ingot on his head was walking cautiously on the single-plank bridge. And around the pool is a stadium-like stand. There sat hundreds of stylishly dressed men and women. They looked at the man walking on the single-plank bridge with fanatical smiles on their faces and raised their arms and shouted, "Fall down! Fall down! Don't fall! If you dare to fall, I will kill you!" To the right of the shark pool is a place that looks like a ring. There, several burly men were playing the game of smashing giant watermelons. The giant watermelon is about 3 meters long. It splits a bloody mouth from the center of the melon body, and it continuously bites at those men like a ferocious beast. To the left of the shark pool is a venue like a bullfighting arena. In the field, there is a huge 3-eyed cow with a height of 10 meters. Is chasing a man running wild. The ruthless spectators around him wagered that he would be killed in seconds. In addition to these, there are more than a dozen similar places. All are playing a cruel game. This is the VIP area. Although the scale is less than 1/100 of the general area, the liveliness is several times higher. Welcome, 5 heavenly kings, Mr. Su Yun and Mr. Coco. When the cadre saw that they had finished looking at them, he also said with a sinister smile on the corner of his mouth, "Ah, stop talking nonsense. Let's start playing." Su Yun said nonchalantly. Coco also had a calm expression on his face and could not see any other emotions at all. Oh, well, please come with me. The cadre's face froze. This seems to be different from what he thought. In his imagination, Su Yun and the two should be scared to turn pale. But this is not only not afraid, but also eager to try what the hell. You two can look at the prize ingredients in the VIP area first. The cadre stretched out his hand and motioned them to look at the LCD screen hanging on the ceiling. Grand prize, poison eye capture level 73, remaining quantity. First prize, refined jelly capture level 59, remaining quantity. 2. Second prize, infected jellyfish capture level 45, remaining quantity. 3. Third prize, psychedelic snake capture level 33, remaining quantity. 5. It's all highly toxic ingredients. Su Yin pouted. If these ingredients appeared in the IGO countries, the owner would probably spend the rest of their lives in the hive prison. Come on, 39 Game 1. Gambling on the consumption of blueberries. The cadre brought Su Yun and the two to a table filled with bunches of blueberries. The blueberries are dark purple in color, round in shape, and emit a faint fragrance. Name: Gambling blueberry type. Fruit capture level: Level 57 habitat. Forest body length: 2 centimeters weight. 1 capsule/12G price. 1 bunch, 10 pieces, /420,000 yuan introduction. It's not difficult if you just harvest it, but 1 out of 10 fruits is a deadly poison that can kill you in about 5 minutes after eating it. Since there is a game where you can't stop eating until you eat poisonous fruit, this is an ingredient that is currently banned in IGO member countries. In some places like gourmet casinos that are not subject to the 8 laws of gourmet food, it seems that some gamblers who are not afraid of death will eat it, but with bad luck, there are many people who eat poisonous fruit and die. Ingredients. How are you? 2 guests. The taste is excellent gambling blueberries. Do you want to challenge yourself and see how many you can eat from now on? 99 Seeing the dangerous ingredients that killed many people. The cadres regained their self-confidence. 0. He looked at the two of them with a smile and was certain that the two of them would not dare to take risks. However, just finished saying this. The next scene made his eyes pop out of his sunglasses. It took less than 10 seconds for Su Yun to eat all the 10 bunches of gambling blueberries on the table. After eating, he smashed his mouth and said in disgust, "That's it? That's it? It's still excellent? Have you never eaten delicious ingredients? 99 Are you crazy?" Su Yun Kun, seeing this sudden scene, Coco took a long time to react and said anxiously, "The poison of gambling blueberries is of course ineffective for him. But Su Yun, who only has dozens of antibodies in his body, can't handle it at all? Don't worry, I'm fine." Su Yun patted Coco on the shoulder, signaling him not to worry. Long before he ate gambling blueberries, he used the power of regeneration to wrap his mouth, esophagus, and organs. The toxin in the gambling blueberry not only has no effect on him, but also contributes an antibody to the toxin. Coco didn't believe it and was still anxiously thinking of a solution. However, time passed little by little. 5 minutes later, Coco still hasn't come up with a countermeasure. He could only close his eyes in despair, unable to bear to look anymore. Go, Coco, next game. 55, who would have thought? That familiar voice sounded as usual. Coco opened his eyes and saw that Su Yun was still alive and kicking like a normal person. Could it be that you have antibodies to gambling blueberries in your body? Although Coco felt incredible, he was greatly relieved. Yeah, I now have more than 200 kinds of antibodies in my body. Then why didn't you tell me earlier? I told you, would you believe it? It's also, when Su Yun and Coco were talking, the cadre looked at Su Yun with the eyes of a ghost. He always feels that their casino has kicked hard this time. Just then, a voice sounded not far away. Ah, 2 distinguished guests, you have lost your way. Let's go and bet on something better? Next, let me entertain the two of you and go to a place higher than the VIP area. Hearing this, the cadre was the first to react, and his voice trembled. Old boss. And Su Yun and the two also turned their heads to look. I saw that the person who came was a burly man who was wearing a red chef's uniform, with a smile on his face, only the whites of his eyes, and was much taller than them. It is the owner of this gourmet casino. At the same time, He is also the boss behind the underground cooking world Lebiala. Ask for a monthly pass. Ask for flowers. Ask for a reward. Ask for an evaluation ticket. Thank you very much. This chapter contains pictures. Click the illustration button in the lower right corner of the screen to view the pictures. The VIP area in Chapter 77? Take memory as a bet. Please order all. It's finally here, Lebiala. Su Yun smiled slightly. Let us both bet on something better for each other. 9 you too, please. After speaking, Lebiala didn't wait for them to respond and walked forward directly. Su Yun Kung. Coco looked at Su Yun to see what he thought. Let's go, we'll just follow. After all, it's our honor to have the boss personally lead the way for us, but we can't help but praise. Su Yun nodded and smiled at Coco, signaling him to be relieved. So the two followed Lebiala and walked to a secret room. Su Yun Kun, what you said is really right. This person really looks like a big pervert. Coco looked at Lebiala's back. I saw a round hole in the back of his neck, like a toilet floor drain. Cannot help but say. Although I don't know if the round hole is for decoration or for other purposes. But at first glance, I always feel physically uncomfortable. Mr. Coco, talking about others behind your back like this will insult your gentleness. Leb Tinyara was not angry, turned her head and smiled, then opened the door of the secret room. Welcome to the VIP area, two of you. This is a place that only VIP guests and more special members can enter. If it's the two of you, the conditions have already been met. Hearing this, Coco wondered. Conditions? What conditions? It's food history. That is, the memory of the ingredients eaten in the past, the experience of eating, and the experience of eating. In this VIP area, this is what you bet on. At this moment, Su Yun spoke up. As expected of the 5 Heavenly King, Mr. Su Yun, you know it very well. Lebiala gave a wretched smile. Food calendar. How is that possible? Coco lost his voice. But as he walked into the depths of the secret room and saw the strange scenes, he was speechless. I saw a precision instrument in the shape of a brain appearing in front of me. At the bottom of the instrument, there are several slender tubes. The end of the tube is connected to the brains of casino guests. Those casino guests seemed mad, or desperate, or ecstatic. Even though they were in the same space, it seemed that some went to heaven and some went to hell. There is such a taste in this world. Delicious, so delicious. Give me another one. And give me another one right away. Stop. Just extract the memory of my diet. Don't deprive the memory of my daughter too. Don't do this. Please stop. Stop it. Is it extracting their memories? Coco looked at the absurd scene in front of him and couldn't help muttering. That's right, Mr. Coco. Lebiala said with a smile. In the VIP area, the bet is on the memory of the guests. More precisely, dietary data. Memory is just a signal sent to the brain, so is taste. These devices will interpret food-related memories from the hippocampus in the guest's brains, convert them into data, extract them, and transmit them into other people's brains. In this way, other people can also experience the delicacy that this person has tasted. What I have here is to read other people's memories. Lebiala pointed to the round hole in the back of his neck and continued. The winning guest, we send the memory of the ingredients he wants to eat into his brain. The lost guest, we strip his memory from his brain. How? It's fair and reasonable, isn't it? Hearing these words, Coco's face turned cold. It's a crooked way. Don't say that, Mr. Coco. Human memory is a treasure mountain. Through memory, you can not only taste the taste of extinct ingredients and illegal ingredients that have been popular in the past, but also help to regenerate extinct ingredients. 99, a lot of VIPs, but I'm very curious about this. 35, but because their food calendars are too ordinary, they don't even have the qualifications to step into this place. The two of you are different, Su Yun and Coco of the 5 Heavenly Kings. How huge the memories of eating will be. Even I, who have tasted the memories of tens of thousands of people, can't help drooling. How? Do you too have the courage to lose delicious memories? 99, hurry up and bet on memory. Bet with me to win or lose. As Lebiala said these words more and more feverishly, his subordinates came around one after another, and the water that surrounded Su Yun and the others was impenetrable. It seems that now I have to gamble even if I don't. Su Yun glanced lazily at the group of shrimp soldiers and crab generals who surrounded them. But I said, Uncle, Is there any meteorite garlic in the prizes in the VIP area? What I want is not data, but real ingredients. Lebubella was stunned for a moment, thought about it, and smiled. Yes, as long as you win, then it's yours. 35, okay, then let's bet. It's a showdown. Su-Yin raised her voice and patted Coco on the shoulder. I'll leave it to you next. Thank you for being so arrogant. But you turned it around and threw it to me. Coco has black lines all over his face. Very well, then. Let's go to the playground. Saying that, Lebiala snapped her fingers. The ground on which they were standing suddenly shook and descended downward like a lift. Everyone came to another secret room. Lebiala led them to a round table in the center of the secret room. He took out a deck of playing cards and said, "The game we want to play is called Food Nervousness. Don't be frightened by its name. It's actually a very simple card game. Next, let me explain the rules in detail." 39 after 7:07 Lebiala finished speaking. Su-Yin also quickly understood. Simply put, it is a game like Linley Yankin. There are 56 cards in total. The back of the card is numbered 1 to 56, and the front is marked with ingredients and points. The connection between ingredients and points is that the harder the ingredient is to taste, the higher the points will be. For example, a normal and delicious ingredient, such as rainbow fruit, may only have 10 points. But if it is an ingredient that may be poisoned within a minute after eating it, such as poison puffer whale, its points may be 100 points. The whole set of cards consists of 28 kinds of ingredients, including 2 kinds of joker ingredients. After the game starts, this set of cards will be stacked with their backs, facing up, and arranged randomly. Turn over 2 cards. If the pattern of the ingredients on the 2 cards is the same, and the ingredients are actually eaten, corresponding points will be obtained. And if you turn to the joker ingredient and eat it, you can exchange one of your cards with your opponent only once. Certainly, if the pattern of the flop is different, or if the card with the same pattern is turned over, but the ingredients are not eaten, the corresponding penalty will be given. After the game is over, the side with the most accumulated points will win the final victory. Ask for a monthly pass, ask for flowers, ask for a reward, ask for an evaluation ticket. Thank you very much. This chapter contains pictures. Click the illustration button in the lower right corner of the screen to view the pictures. Chapter 78 Deadly Game? Showdown with Lebiala. Please complete order. Okay, then let's stop talking nonsense and start directly. Since the 2 of you are my opponents, I decided to set the card as LV.5 on my own initiative. Lebiala smiled sullenly. Card level? What do you mean? Coco wondered. The number of stars in the hotel is the same, and the cards are also divided into LV.1-5. The higher the level, the more advanced and rare the ingredients on the card, and of course, correspondingly, it will be more difficult to eat. If you think it's inappropriate, it's not that I can't lower the level. Lebiala said. No problem, that's it. Su-Yun waved his hand with a look of indifference. Then he pulled Coco aside and whispered, Coco, I'll be in charge of eating and cooking the ingredients for a while, and you're in charge of drawing cards. Can you tell the difference? Coco said hesitantly. I can, but it's not completely clear. I can see the image and intensity of the electromagnetic waves emerging from the card, but I can't tell the specific ingredients and points it represents. After a few pictures, summarize the rules. That's okay. When you sum up the rules, you can just draw the card with a large number of points, and I can eat it no matter what. 99, what are you thinking about? Coco frowned and said, Have you forgotten what ingredients this gourmet casino sells? If there are highly poisonous ingredients such as poisonous potatoes in the cards, it's definitely over. Even I can't bear it. Oh, did you forget that you can see death? Do you see the death in me? 99, Su-Yun said helplessly. This, I really can't see. Coco looked at Su-Yun in surprise. Moreover, he suddenly remembered that when Su-Yun ate the gambling cherries just now, he didn't show any signs of death. But he was too flustered to ignore this detail. Now when Su-Yun mentions it, he instantly remembers that he has the special ability to predict the life and death of others. Isn't that enough? For a while, you can smoke those high-point ingredients. If there is a death sign on me, it's not too late to stop me, right? Question mark. But if you win the lottery, but you can't finish the ingredients, the points will be transferred to the other party. 99 Coco was still hesitant. He didn't want his precious memories to be tasted by that big pervert. It's okay, just trust me. Give me a trust and give you a miracle. Suyun couldn't help but say the chicken soup that some organizations in his previous life often said. Then, that's fine, but as I said, I will only let you be willful once, and if you fail, then I will take the lead. Okay, no problem, that's it. After speaking, the two walked back to the round table. Have you two finished discussing the countermeasures? Labiala smiled and said, how about it? Don't you think there is no hope of victory? Would you like to give you some more time to call for help? In the past, my challengers have gathered enough people to dare to fight with me. It's not a group of highly skilled chefs or a team of big stomach champions. Usually it's full of 10 people. By the way, I've always been alone with a 203-0 record. The brains of the guests who have challenged me so far have been sucked into an empty shell. So Suyun interrupted Lebiala's chatter impatiently and said angrily, Uncle, where did you come from so much nonsense? If you want to play, just play. By the way, I also mentioned that after today, your record will be 203. Win one loss. But don't worry, I'm not interested in tasting your dirty hodgepodge of memories. All I need is meteorite garlic. Oops, is it? 99, a gloomy color flashed on Lebiala's face imperceptibly, and the smile did not change. Since you were so confident, let's wait and see. He waved his hand, summoned a staff member, and continued. Next, let's guess the head and tail of the coin to decide who will move first. I'm a representative of the underground organization, so I choose the tail. After speaking, he looked at Su-Yun and the two. Coco looked at the coin in the staff's hand, closed his eyes and pondered for half a minute, then opened his eyes and said, I choose neither. 5 what? The staff was taken aback. I choose neither. 55 Coco repeated it. Oh well. The staff nodded blankly, then tossed a coin. With a ding bell, the coin stood upright in the center of the table without falling down. It's not positive, it's not negative, so it seems that I guessed it right, so I'll take the lead. 39 Coco smiled slightly. It's really interesting. It seems that it's different from the previous guests. Lebiala licked his lips and said with a grin. 66 then, please flop the cards first. I choose cards 8 and 29, Coco said. Number 8 and number 29. Ingredients apple cherry, trigger combo. The staff turned over the two cards, compared them, and said, as for the so-called combo, it refers to turning out two cards with the same pattern. That's good, Coco, go for it. Su-Yun ate the apple cherries brought by the staff in one bite. Name, apple cherry type. Fruit capture level, level 1 habitat. Widespread body length. 2.5 centimeters weight. 15 G price. 1 piece / 1,500 yuan introduction. A rare cherry in the deciduous Takagi of the genus Sakura of the Rosaceae family. It is a high-grade ingredient characterized by its refreshing sourness and top-grade sweetness. Its fruit is bright red and round, and although it looks like an apple, its size is the size of a cherry. Basically do not need to cook, can be eaten directly, zhao. But the roasted apple cherries made after roasting and cooking will increase the sugar content. It is also a very good ingredient in combination with meat dishes. Apple cherries can be eaten without cooking, so the points are low, only 10 points. Su-Yun, the Coco group, got 10 points. After the combo is successful, you can get the right to turn over the card again, up to 3 rounds. 99 Mr. Coco, please continue the flop. Coco nodded library. Next, he batted twice in a row. They are the watermelon shell at 10 o'clock and the percussion mushroom at 20 o'clock. Counting the points for the first time, you will get a total of 40 points. Su-Yun, the Coco team, got a 3-hit combo and ate them all, and the main round was moved to Lebiala. The staff raised a flag and waved it, asked for a monthly pass, asked for flowers, asked for a reward, asked for an evaluation ticket. Thank you very much. This chapter contains pictures. Click the illustration button in the lower right corner of the screen to view the pictures. Chapter 79, Lebiala underestimates the enemy. The score is ahead. Please complete. Mr. Coco, you know very well, cards that can generate combos. Lebiala glanced at Coco meaningfully. From the 56 cards, the probability of a 3 combo is 1 in 148,665, which is an unimaginable number even if it is a fluke. Let's each other. 35 Coco looked at Lebiala's only white eyes, and he felt an unusual electromagnetic wave from there. Obviously, This big metamorphosis is out of the old thousand. Ah! Lebiala smiled, did not respond, and said to the staff, "Help me open number 32 and number 16. 35 trigger combo, Dachshund Worm, 50 points. 2 combos, Human Face King Oyster Mushroom, 70 points. 3 hits, Top Sign Melon Eggs, 100 points." Next, Lebiala also successfully batted 3 times, and the score came directly to 220, quickly surpassing Su Yun's group. It's really insidious, Lebiala. When you tell the rules, you don't make it clear that there are top and bottom draws. Su Yun looked at Lebiala with a gloomy smile and wanted to cut his head a little. The so-called on the sign means that it is easy to cook and eat, and the food with high points. As for the next sign, it is the opposite. When Lebiala explained the 707 rule to them just now, in order to take advantage, he didn't mention this. Forget it, it doesn't matter. It's definitely us who will win anyway. Even if I don't win, I don't mind using force. By the way, 12 cards have been turned over, so Coco should have a general grasp of the rules. With that in mind, Su Yun also looked at Coco. "I choose number 23 and number 44. Coco glanced at Su Yun uncertainly, and after a look of trust came from the latter, he finally made up his mind. Trigger combo, 150 ingredients. Pudding Hill. Note that there is a time limit for eating ingredients, and the time limit is the number of points multiplied by 1. Mr. Su Yun, you need to finish the pudding mountain within 150 minutes. Otherwise, it will be regarded as giving up." While explaining, the staff took Su Yun to another room. There is a super giant ingredient like a hill, exuding a strong sweet taste of vanilla and custard. Name: Pudding Hill type, dessert capture level, 20 habitat, dessert island height, 150 meters weight, 45 million tons price, 1 cup, 150 G/2000 yuan introduction. A huge pudding like a real mountain, with a smooth and dense taste, rich milky fragrance, full of egg, milk, sugar flavor, strong sweetness and mellow flavor. If coated with mineral crystal juice, almond cabbage, banana cucumber, the fused cream will change the taste everywhere and can better adjust the sugar content to help digestion and absorption. Mr. Su Yun, can you finish eating? Or do you want to give up once? Lebiala's voice was transmitted to this room through the broadcasting equipment. What nonsense are you talking about? It's hard to eat 1/3 full with just this little thing. Su Yun pointed his middle finger to the monitor and walked to the side of Pudding Hill. "Open your mouth and suck hard." The soft pudding mountain suddenly became smaller, like being swallowed by a whale. In less than 5 minutes, all of them had entered Su Yun's stomach. And his stomach didn't look like he had any ups and downs. It was still flat and flat. It's really unexpected. You can eat a super giant ingredient in 5 minutes. Mr. Su Yun, I'm more and more interested in your memory. Lebiala smiled and looked at Su Yun with a strange expression. Resisting the urge to beat Lebiala, Su Yun said to Coco, "Don't hold back, don't give him any chance." Good. 35. Seeing that Su Yun was so powerful, Coco felt relieved and started to choose the card with the strongest electromagnetic wave. The 29th and the 36th. 2 hits on the sign, 200 points of ingredients, garlic crab. Su Yun spent 10 minutes cooking and eating and returned to the game room. The 18th and the 35th. 3 times Bach combo, also a joker card, 250 points of ingredients. Prajna Panda. It's quite similar to the national treasure. I will beat you lightly. 99. Follow the staff to an open room. Su Yun saw a panda with a human face on its belly and 2 horns on its shoulders. There was a sense of intimacy in my heart. Name: Prajna Panda species. Mammals capture level, 80 habitat. Fertile plains height, 18 meters weight. 15 tons price. Meat 100 G/20,000 yuan. Brief introduction. A meat-eating panda with a terrifying Prajna face pattern on its stomach. It has a rude temperament, and it is difficult to stop it once a riot starts. If you want to capture it, you must be aware of the corresponding damage. But its meat is very rare and valuable, and its taste is very good. So when it rarely enters the market, it will be sold at a high price, and its fighting ability is outstanding. With speed, strength, and skill, as an omnivorous animal, it can wipe out all the animals and plants on a mountain in half a day, and its behavior is like a ghost, Prajna. In the game of neurasthenia of food, it is not an exaggeration to call it the #1 ingredient in combat power. According to legend, the food industry is also inhabited by a more powerful original species panda king, Prajna energy needle. 35 After easily acupointing the Prajna panda, Su Yun dragged it to the kitchen for cooking. The kitchen seasonings and kitchen utensils prepared by Lebiala are all available, coupled with Su Yun's cooking skills. Within half an hour, the fragrant Prajna panda meat entered Su Yun's stomach. When Su Yun walked back to the game room, Lebiala was already drooling at him. After clenching his fists and deciding to get the meteorite garlic, Su Yun, who beat up Lebiala, smiled at Coco. "How is it I didn't disappoint you?" Coco smiled, but his eyes gradually became solemn when he looked at the remaining cards. He could feel that some of the cards were exuding electromagnetic waves of unknown aura. Su Yun, the Coco team, has 640 points because they got 3 combos and ate them all. The main round will be transferred to Lebiala. Lebiala didn't panic when she heard the other party's points. He started his flop with a big smile. According to his past experience, all the teams that challenged food neurasthenia failed because of insufficient points. But because of the lottery in the gambling game, those signings, even for him, are tricky beings. He didn't believe that the two people on the opposite side had a way to resist. Therefore, he still chooses the ingredients he likes to eat leisurely. Soon, Lebiala achieved another 3-hit combo, earning 260 points. His total points have come to 480 points, 160 points behind the Su Yun group. Ask for a monthly pass, ask for flowers, ask for a reward, ask for an evaluation ticket. Thank you very much. This chapter contains pictures. Click the illustration button in the lower right corner of the screen to view the pictures. Chapter 80 Poisonous Potatoes. Is this something that people can eat? Please order all. In the next time. Coco still chooses the card with the most points. With his supervision, every time their team can achieve a 3-hit combo. So the score in Lebiala gradually widened. And Lebiala saw that the score was not comparable, so he simply stopped chasing. Anyway, he can eat all the ingredients in this gourmet casino. No matter what kind of special ingredients or what kind of beasts, its capture method and cooking method are in his mind. After all, he has absorbed a large number of other people's memories over the years, and his cooking skills have already integrated the strengths of each family. So, that's it. The two groups of people tacitly avoided those who signed, and selected all the ingredients that could be cooked and tasted normally. And when there are only 20 cards left on the field, the score between the two sides also came to 1080 to 830. It looks like the real final is coming. Lebiala wiped her drooling saliva and looked at Su Yun and Coco covetously. "Ah, yes, it's up to you, Su Yun-kun," Coco said solemnly. In his sight at this time, all remaining cards emit electromagnetic waves in the shape of grimace. Obviously, every ingredient they represent is extremely dangerous. The Lebiala group has 830 points because they got 3 combos and ate them all, and the main round will be transferred to the Su Yun and Coco groups. 95 Coco gave Su Yun a worried look and then said to the staff, "Number 9 and number 11. Trigger combo, Sanagawa Poisonous Lizard, 150 points. Oh, yo. This is a very poisonous ingredient, Mr. Su Yun. If you can't cook it, I suggest you give it up. I don't want you to die in vain." 39. Shut your mouth. Su Yun waved his fist at Lebiala. "Su Yun-kun, if it really doesn't work, just give up. We're out of this game. We have an advantage anyway. Rest assured." Su Yun smiled at Coco, then followed the staff to a dark room. There is a black lizard. Su Yun acupoints it, brings it into the kitchen, and cooks it, even without removing the poison, and eats it directly into the stomach. It's a pity. It's such a sloppy advantage despite having such a big advantage. What a pity for that delicious food calendar. Lebiala looked at the situation in the kitchen through the monitor and said regretfully. But Coco wasn't in a hurry because he didn't see Su Yun's death. But he was very surprised. When did Su Yun have so many poisonous antibodies in his body? It's so unpalatable, this Santuchuan poisonous lizard. In the kitchen, Su Yun almost vomited after eating the whole dish. Fortunately, at least 30 kinds of antibodies have been harvested in the body, which is not too bad. How can that be? How did you manage to eat the Santuchuan poisonous lizard that hasn't been detoxified and still be safe and sound? Back in the game room, Lebubella looked at Su Yun, who was safe and sound. And finally, a trace of panic appeared in her eyes. I realized it now. It's too late. Su Yun gave Lebubella a contemptuous look and said to Coco, "Go on. It is good." Seeing Su Yun, who looked like a normal person, Coco suddenly became more confident and said, "Number 1 and number 5. 55, 2 combos, Dynamite Dragonfly, 20 points. 3 combos, Sea Urchin Rat, 10 points." The next 2 ingredients, Su Yun still easily finished eating and harvested 20 kinds of antibodies in the body. This time, Lebubella was completely panicked. The original wretched smile disappeared, replaced by a gloomy look. He was drenched in cold sweat, and even his extremely stable hands as a chef were trembling slightly. But it was useless for him to panic, because the remaining cards are all the worst ingredients to sign, and the maximum points are only 10 points. Even if he hits all the combos and eats them all, he won't be able to catch up with the score at all. Soon, the last round will come. There are only 2 cards left in the field, and this round is the round of the Su Yun team. Lebubella deliberately chose the wrong cards a few times, resulting in multiple exits, and the main round was transferred to the Su Yun group. After all, it is impossible to regain the score. The only hope that can be pinned on it now is the remaining ingredients in the field. That is the super poisonous thing, poisonous potatoes. As we all know, the sprouts of ordinary potatoes are highly toxic, and the toxin contained in them is called solanine. The poison contained in poisonous potatoes is a new type of highly poisonous called new solanine. Its lethal dose is 0.01 milligrams, which is 20 times that of pufferfish venom and 40,000 times that of ordinary solanine. Even the poisonous cocoa will die if he eats it. Without a doubt, this is also the worst ingredient in the game. Su Yun Kuin, we won. As long as we give up, the main return will automatically transfer to Lebubella. And if he gives up twice in a row, it will automatically be regarded as losing the game. Coco, who had been anxious for almost the entire game, finally felt relieved. He waved his fist in excitement and said to the staff, "We let." Wait. Su Yun stopped Coco and, under his puzzled eyes, said to the staff, "Flip the card." This time, everyone in the venue was stunned except for Su Yun. Flop? Isn't this guy crazy? Or do you eat too much poison and eat your brain? Just when everyone was stunned, Lebubella was the first to come back to his senses, and he yelled at the staff, "Idiot, turn over the cards quickly. Do you want me to kill you?" "Yes, yes, my lord." The staff also came back to their senses and hurriedly flipped over 2 cards. The pattern on it is a coquettish poisonous potato. "Su Yun, can you?" Coco hated that iron is not steel, and he couldn't help but beat Su Yun. Coco, don't worry. You have forgotten your abilities again?" Su Yun said helplessly. "Zero seeking flowers." Hearing this, Coco's eyes widened. Indeed, he still hadn't seen Su Yun's death. But how could it be? Su Yun can resist a poison that even he can't handle? Could it be that in the future, the title of his poisonous person will be handed over to others like this? For a time, Coco had mixed feelings. In the past, he hated this title the most, but when he finally lost it, he felt a little regretful. During the conversation, the staff had brought the poisonous potatoes over. Name: poisonous potatoes. Type: vegetables. Capture level: 73. Habitat: 30 m. Underground. Body length: 30 centimeters. Weight: 5 kilograms. Price: 1 piece /150 000 yuan. Introduction: in history, no one has successfully detoxified the super poisonous potato, and even the National Treasure Festival has failed. Neosolanine has the property of changing shape and properties after slight heat and stimulation. Since it is contained in the whole poisonous potato, it is impossible to completely remove it today. The only known but unrecognized method of cooking is to reduce its toxicity as much as possible and change its properties, so that even if eaten, it will not die, but it will still cause great side effects. In short, it is extremely difficult to conquer the super special cooking ingredients. Oh, is this a poisonous potato, or is it a strange feeling? Su Yun planned to eat it at first, just to make more antibodies in the body. However, What he didn't expect was that he actually felt the cell's thirst for it from this highly poisonous thing. Could it be thinking of this? Su Yun swallowed it without hesitation. At this moment, Libera, who was watching Su Yun's every move nervously, was also insane and laughed loudly. Aha! I am the king of this underground world. 995. This gamble, in the final analysis, is nothing but a farce in my hands. Su Yun, Su Yun, since you want to kill yourself, you can't help me. 35. It's a pity that I can't taste your memory, though. But keeping the undefeated record is the most important thing to me. Thank you so much, the arrogant 5 Heavenly King Su. Before the word cloud could be uttered, Librela's voice stopped abruptly. Because, in his eyes, Su Yun is far from nothing. On the contrary, the muscles all over his body swelled, and a strong aura erupted from his body, blowing the facilities and people in the entire game room upside down. Amazingly, the cells have undergone an activation reaction. Looking at this scene, Lebiala's eyes shrunk to the size of mung beans. He doesn't understand. Is the world crazy, or is he crazy? What a poisonous potato. How can it break through after eating it? For a time, he doubted his life. Asked for a monthly pass, asked for flowers, asked for a reward, asked for an evaluation ticket. Thank you very much. This chapter contains pictures. Click the illustration button in the lower right corner of the screen to view the pictures. Chapter 81. Capture the meteorite garlic and return to the first courtyard. For full order. I didn't expect that a small poisonous potato would actually make me level 25 in a row. Su Yun was amazed when he felt the powerful power filling his body. Now he has reached the level of 410, enough to go to places such as the Toxic Mountains and 3 Ways. And for both places, Su Yun actually prefers the Toxic Mountains. After all, it's just from the name. Just know that there are natural petri dishes for dangerous toxins. Not to mention, before reaching the Toxic Mountains, you need to pass through the Dead Sea Current, Poison Tide. Su Yun has good reason to believe. Just go there for a walk. On the character panel, intermediate poison resistance can be changed to advanced poison resistance. Of course, Coco's reputation as a poisonous man could not be taken away. After all, when the power of regeneration exists in the body, it is impossible to produce new toxins, and naturally it cannot use poison to attack like 723 Coco. Forget it. Then I'll go to Mr. Yilong and ask if there are any ingredients suitable for me. In this way, you can improve your cell level while practicing and improve your strength more efficiently. 5. With that in mind, Su Yun also turned his attention back to the game room. He first glanced at Coco, who had been shocked and numb, grinned at him. Then he turned his attention to Lebiala. His eyes gradually became cold. At this time, Lebiala's expression was ruthless and his face was hideous. A mouth of black fangs and sharp teeth were exposed, adding a bit of terror. At this time, he was angry and tangled in his heart, annoyed because he underestimated the enemy. After all, with his knowledge of ingredients, if he goes all out from the beginning, the scale of victory will definitely be tipped on his side. The entanglement was because he didn't want to admit the gamble and wanted to use force to destroy the ending. But judging from the momentum of Su Yun's breakthrough just now, he doubted whether he could fight. Don't subdue the other party if you can't. But instead you were hung up and beaten. Just when Lebiala was struggling, Su Yun spoke up. Yo-yo, perverted uncle, it seems that you are not very convinced, staring at me with such fierce eyes. People are so scared, and you haven't admitted defeat until now. Do you want to admit it? If that's the case, then I'll have to use some means to get you to say those 2 words convincingly. Su Yun pinched his finger bones so much that they rattled. There was an aura that was as sharp as a knife. Slowly walked towards Lebiala. Every step, the hard floors were cracked open, and countless rubble splashed out. Don't, Mr. Su Yun, I have something to discuss. I admit defeat. Can I admit defeat? Looking at the amazing momentum of the other party, Lebubella's tangled mood suddenly disappeared without a trace. Instead, it was the fear of falling into an ice cellar. He has no doubt that the opponent's punch and the mother who can hit him doesn't know. It's too late. The way you look at me really makes me so.
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.